Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. Welcome to our show, Freedom Friday, where I wear the tie that pretty much establishes your concept of freedom. And we talk about brutality, police brutality, things that happen in our country that we don't have any control over. I'm looking at a story right here. New Hampshire House passes jury nullification. The New Hampshire House has passed a bill that would require courts to inform juries of their right to vote not guilty when a guilty verdict will yield an unjust result. Okay. It would amend current law on jury nullification and require the court to explain that right to the jury upon request of the defense. In all criminal proceedings, the court shall permit the defense to inform the jury of its right to judge the facts and the application of the law in relation to the facts in controversy. This is such a minor detail, you got to wonder, what are they trying to pull here? Super Dave, I'm going to ask you to not keep posting and altering the dialogue. It really is disturbing. I'm going to look at the bottom right of this picture. We are a virtual chat show, by the way. In case you were watching us last night and picking up where you left off, we don't stop, and we can't stop. Okay, we're going to look at the close-up of this. Watch the lower right of this picture. Okay, he's feeding someone some sort of a drug or something? Or a chip? Or I'm not really sure. What is that? Okay, we've got a Chicago riot going on. That's the news. I didn't want to belabor the point. Let me cue this up. Trump was going to be in Chicago tonight. He's canceled his meeting because of an event that could very well be a large melee of some sort. Hopefully no one's going to get hurt in this event. But on the heels of Trump in the debate saying that he was a uniter, the country is dividing. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. The failure of this blowhard presidential candidate to unite the country is becoming more and more obvious every second of the day. Yeah. Occasionally I say good things, but it usually comes with hours of practice. I've been doing this for over 7,000 hours. I take breaks. I go to bed, I wake up. But if you are having a problem with the video signal, you can always catch us at AmericasThirdParty.com. Always go to that location. We have a backup video and the chat room that you're currently in. I believe that it was probably the left, organizing it. I agree. But you've got to understand, the left is going to put up a huge fight against somebody who wants to ID Muslims. I mean, come on. Donald Trump may have been living in a fishbowl most of his life, on the penthouse suite of his house where he tells everybody what to do. But in the real world, it doesn't work that way. In the real world, bad things happen. Okay. This is the kind of thing that's happening in America right now. Unnecessarily, our government is spending $26 billion a year invading homes, breaking into marijuana grow operations, literally costing you, the taxpayer, $26 billion to operate a sting operation against anybody who may very well be growing a marijuana plant, a medical marijuana plant. And in this picture, it says, you better not be sitting in there peacefully with a plant. So they come in with guns drawn, and this has been happening more and more. People have got to understand, our country is now the #1 center for swatting. Swattings occur more in America than any other place in the world. And I can tell you, I'm a victim of that. A perpetrator on the internet played a scam on Sarah and I, and the local law enforcement didn't bother to even call me on the phone number that they had on file. And within an hour and a half, an entire SWAT team was outside. A reverse 911 call was put in. literally informing over 150 people in the area that there was a live shooter, that yet they had no verifiability, no proof. And they didn't even bother calling me to say, are you this person? Which is a kind of a breakdown, in my opinion, of protocol. So as president, I will work to get better protocol and less brutality in our police forces. That's something I really am extremely concerned about, because these people who are being victimized, over 1,000 people died last year by cops. Nearly 1/3 of them were unarmed completely. Some of them might have had a knife. Some of them may have been packing a Swiss Army knife. That brings the total up to about 60%. Unnecessarily killed by cops. And similarly, about 170 cops died in the line of duty last year. So it's a serious problem. We've got to address it. For our president to have ignored it all these years is pathetic. We've had no leadership. I don't believe what's happening in Chicago is in any way a false flag. I think it could very well be a real rioting, protesting Donald Trump, because bear in mind, a couple news stories flew last week talking about Trump asking blacks to leave his rally, having police usher black people out of his rally purposely. And we saw photos of this. Innocent black people were being told that you can't go to the Trump rally. So this divisive behavior, this activity of Trump to divide our nation seems to be willful. And there's an intent here. I'm not sure why, but obviously he's pushing America apart. And if his intent is to create a crisis, he certainly laid the groundwork for something like this. But no doubt this is put on by George Soros or one of the liberal leftist groups gathering their list of email accounts of people they think is in their little cadre of Occupy whatever. So this is just a potential beginning of an Occupy Ferguson, Occupy Baltimore event. The Occupy movement was essentially paid for and funded by Soros as well. So a billionaire and a couple other billionaires, liberals, are trying to create the Occupy movement. The literal takedown of our country, and it's the fabric of our nation is being attacked by paid rioters and revolutionaries. So the Communist Party is now getting funded, and they're trying to pick up where they left off in the 50s. Yeah, he is a megalomaniac, I agree. Well, I think he's suffering from a vagina envy. That's just my personal take. I think Trump is suffering from a disease called vagina envy. It's not something that I want to go into detail with, other than to say Karen Horney came up with this theory that a man who is somehow, well, let me let the wiki speak for itself. Karen Horney was the preeminent psychologist who discovered vagina envy. It's like penis envy, but here she is, Karen. I'm going to squeeze this in. She's a famous feminist psychoanalyst. There she is. She looks a lot like me, doesn't she? Kind of strange. Similarity, I must say. Now, I normally don't, pretend to act like somebody, like a woman, but I mean, it would be kind of interesting to have her speak and read it, wouldn't it? You're right. She's not my mama. I didn't have separation anxiety from my mama at a young age. Now, the vagina envy is something that happens when a person, now I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, but I can tell you that if indeed it is the case, he seems to have all the earmarks of that. So let me read it for you from Catherine's perspective. Well, okay, everyone, thank you. The late, great Catherine Horney. In feminist psychology, the terms womb envy and vagina envy denote the anxiety that many men may feel caused by envy of the biological functions of the female sex, pregnancy, breastfeeding, These emotions could fuel the social subordination of women and drive men to succeed in all other areas of life, such as business, law, and politics. Each term is analogous to the concept of a female penis envy, derived from the theory of psychosexual development presented in Freudian psychology. Yeah, ever since I've been researching this, the wiki changed. Yeah, they changed it. The early wiki actually had this as a description describing Catherine Hornet's view that the person that becomes obsessed with their name. Now you notice I don't have David Sponheim on the screen right now. But if like Trump has Trump this, Trump ties, Trump belt, Trump hotel, Trump this, the Trump line. That's a classic symptom of vagina envy. And that is another aspect that Karen actually brought up. Hi, Amanda. Yes, I was just doing a little impersonation of Karen Hornet. Yes, I can be funny. That's the difference between me and the Trumpster. He's funny looking, but I'm funny. All right, so this is going to be digesting what this Chicago event is. The stock market's doing enormously well. It went over 17,000 today, so nothing to worry about there, up to over 200 points. So I was saying at the beginning of our show that despite what Trump says, this is a great country, and we are still the greatest country. So when he says he's going to make America great again, he's implying our country isn't great. And I find that very disturbing. Sniper, what do you mean you don't like my policies? But you're complimenting me. I like that. You're saying you're not that messed up, man. I agree. I'm a pretty accepting person. I'm willing to negotiate. I'm very flexible. I don't repeat myself incessantly like Trump does. And I'm not a person who has this megalomaniacal fantasy of wanting to control everybody. And that's the big difference between me. And I agree, if you dislike my politics or the policies on our platform, you have every right to disagree. Whereas Trump's actually stated that if he gets people, media criticizing him, he will charge them with a crime if he's president. Now that's amazing. I just find that really disturbing that a person would think that the president could charge somebody with a crime for criticizing him. It's as if he doesn't even understand the Constitution. Now, you Democrats and you Republicans alike know full well that this Constitution has helped knit our country together for years. It's a little piece of paper, a document that holds our nation together. And with a presidential candidate like Trump who wants to deny Muslims their right to have a religion, IDing people unfairly, not even abiding by equal protection of the law, violating the Constitution in so many different ways with his ideas. I can see why Joe Biden went down to Mexico and apologized for Trump, claiming he wanted Mexico to pay for a fence, or excuse me, that's my idea. A wall. A wall. Like we're going to be able to brick and mortar a wall in a year. I mean, what is he thinking? Has he ever done any hard work himself, or does he have these mamby-pamby hands that are like silk purses? I doubt he's ever laid a brick in his life. Thank you. At least we agree on something. Our grandfathers are gone. We're left with old houses, crumbling infrastructure, old waterways, highways, and we're morally bankrupt. Whoa, wait a second. That's a little extreme. I'm going to argue that we are doing pretty dang well in a collapsing economy perpetrated by credit junkies like Donald Trump. You know, the borrowing strategy of our government has been, like every other country in the Western world, except for the BRIC nations. We've been pretty much borrowing capital. They just simply try to get up enough capital to try to convince everyone to go their direction. They don't have nearly the capital we have. But the connection we have to the Federal Reserve is our pipeline to the World Bank. And we have essentially been riding a really good train. They, however, have been leveraging against us And the European Central Bank is now beginning to waver under the pressures of the EU collapsing. So we only have to do what Britain's doing, the Brexit, basically taking themselves and separating from the EU. Britain was never directly involved with the EU, so they have an exit strategy. We do too. We just have to get the Federal Reserve out of our country and reacquire our gold that is in the World Bank right now. The Brexit, that's right. Britain leaving the EU. So we could have a U.S. exit. USEXIT or a USEXIT, something like that. We don't need to be a part of their G20 or their G7. We have enough equity in this country, and like I said, gold at the World Bank to more than back our debt, completely paid off, and give everybody about 100 grand. Every citizen in America could easily get 100 grand. That's how much money we have. But they've been keeping this from you. And people like Donald Trump, they won't tell you because he doesn't know. He's been left in the dark all his life. He just calls somebody up and says, I need another $1 billion. Can you help me out? And they help him out. Well, of course the UK is going to leave. It's a sinking ship. You can't prop up economies like Greece and Italy. Plus, you've got the Syrian refugee crisis impending on one of the strongest assets they have, with Germany. Angela Merkel's completely lost in her Hegelian nightmare that she's created. I can't believe she's still in power. It's a testimony to her stature. I'm not sure if she's like the Iron Lady of Germany or something, but if their politics was working properly in Germany, they would have ousted her, because she's turned a blind eye to the national stature of Germany. She's completely disallowing the people who are nationalists to take a strong position. And they're using the communist strong-arm techniques that she must have learned in East Germany when she was there as part of the German Stasi. Angela Merkel and the German Stasi. Look it up. Interesting. Okay, what you need to know about Hillary's SAP emails: compromise could bring life in prison. Really? Life in prison? Oh, well, we've been hearing that a lot, but Rents.com has got a story that maybe she has violated our national security. Here's a U.S. Army intelligence officer named Ed Coat. His last job in the Army was the chief of the Human Intelligence Branch of the U.S. European Command in Stuttgart, Germany. In that capacity, he was the designated program manager for a special access program, like the SAP that Hillary Clinton is alleged to have compromised in the most recent State Department Inspector General report to Congress, and widely reported in the news. Here's what I personally know about SAPs and what I can attest to in unclassified form. Basically, it's far and above top secret what she revealed in her emails. Over 22 top secret emails were discovered. What's concerning me is the GOP hasn't filed any lawsuits. So you clearly see that the two parties are working together to protect Hillary. I'm sorry. Yeah, I unbanned everybody, Mr. Master Meatball. I even let this deep down guy come in under his 6th personality. Okay, I'm not going to handle your country. Thank you. UK can do whatever they want to do, but thanks anyway. She'll never be in prison, no. Okay, we've got a nuclear history on Fukushima radiation. That should be interesting. Yeah, Obama's AG, I mean, how in the world is that not a racist thing to put another black in place of a previous black? Now, I have nothing against black attorney generals or black presidents. I really don't. I'm an integrationist. I think I've explained that to you before. I'm a little concerned about racial bias in choosing, this woman, Loretta Lynch, to replace Eric Holder. I mean, 2 blacks don't make a white. I just think it's time to open the board to equal opportunity hiring. I mean, I don't understand it, and nobody in the press said anything about this. All right. Okay, here it is. No Plan A. U.S. unprepared for a nuclear crisis as more Fukushima radiation is found off the West Coast. Let's take a look here. It's 131 microsieverts per hour near the number 2 and number 3 buildings at the Fukushima nuclear power plant. It's pretty high up there. Microsieverts are different types of measurements. They have various kinds of measurements for radiation. Yep. Marine radiochemist Ken Buesler and his team have detected the highest level to date, roughly 1,600 miles west of San Francisco. Samples are 50% more radioactive than other samples collected so far. So our government is kind of remiss in not checking radiation levels. It's unfortunate. Okay, so let's go back to the real story here, which is happening. We've got a live Donald protest going on. Let's listen to the police scanner and check it out. Breaker, 1-9er. Now, Donald Trump has not been there. He canceled the event, but the protesters were out in numbers. So when he said he was a uniter in the debate, was he confused? Did he mean divider? I was right all along, yeah. So Hillary and Obama had a deal. She won't trash him and he won't prosecute her, right? And I think Hillary and Donald have a deal too. You know, their relationship goes way back. There's gatherings of people. Hopefully nobody will be hurt. I haven't heard of any dead people yet. I'm not always right. You can correct me anytime I'm wrong. So Trump is essentially spanking the whole idea of peace when he did these terrible things, ordered black people out of his rallies twice. It's like he can't help but stick his foot in his mouth everywhere he turns. I'm not really sure what his deal is, but he seems to be a very divisive person, not a uniter. And I'm not sure why he's behaving this way when he's in a clutch position right now to take over the nearly dead Republican Party, which will be like whoop-de-doo. It's like Democrats will still vote party line for Hillary. I don't understand why the Republicans haven't come up with something better than the Donald. But, you know, they don't really have a clear vision of what the country's going through. Republicans tend to live in their ivory tower or in their world of greed, where they think that somehow companies like Goldman Sachs are going to help out the common man. I have to laugh. I know Trump's being set up too. Yeah, sure. It's all a big setup. All right, yeah, so we are looking at the influence of George Soros putting together his cadre of paid rioters. A media event, national coverage, unlike anything we do tonight on our show, because we never get any coverage whatsoever, except I would thank you for broadcasting me in Japan. Arigato. It's very nice to know that you are aware of the growing third-party movement in America. I appreciate you coming in. And I do have a plan for Fukushima. Never forget that. This goal is to help seal the dangerous nuclear reactor and solve the radiation problem with a fast breeder reactor right near that facility. And we'll help the Japanese government develop that under my leadership. We've got to do something, folks. And our president and the Democrats, Republicans, they didn't even mention Fukushima in any of the debates. Our two parties have become completely irrelevant. And the more you're turning to the blogosphere, the more you realize how important it is that you are getting information that's better than the mainstream media. No matter where you go, whether you watch our show or listen to fearmongers on the internet. There are people out there that are making all kinds of brash statements right now. I'm not a fearmonger. Because we are planning on building this third party, we are giving you a way out. So don't confuse me with fearmongers, please. There have been a lot of fearmongers, and they're promoted on the internet, whereas I am getting a hit counter lock, shutting down my YouTube feed. I've been censored for over 4 years now since the Penguin update. And Google is basically an arm of the government. So much so that Eric Schmidt is now going to become a member of the DOD, Department of Defense. I'm just telling you, this is what I've been saying all along. Google is being used by the government. I believe it's the Navy that runs Google now. They're part of the government now. The problem is we're not in control. If this was a monopoly bust, we could take over Google like I want to do. We would be in control of the horizontal and the vertical. We would be telling the NSA how and who they would be listening into. We would set the rules for their procedures because we are the people, right? This is really doesn't come as a surprise for me, but pharmaceutical giants caught supplying cartels with tons of bulk ingredients to produce meth. This goes along my theme that they're trying to depopulate the world. Now, if this is true, yeah, these people want to make money and they also want to see people dead. So it doesn't surprise me that this is happening. Prosecutors in Belgium have recently announced that the executives with pharmaceutical companies based in the country will be charged with knowingly providing cartels with prescription drugs that were used to manufacturing methamphetamine. They provided kingpin Ezio Figueroa Vasquez with several tons of ephedrine, knowing that it was going to be used in the production of methamphetamines. Whoa, so these people who are trying to kill us with big pharma medication, gee, why would they do something bad like give all these meth dealers the ingredients to make meth? It seems pretty typical that corrupt people are going to be corrupt, right? Well, thank you. Florida's in trouble. What's happening there? Hey guys, if you have any personal issues that you want to talk about, I read pretty fast. So you can give me some information and I can always, absorb it. When things come in our show from guests, for instance, when I open up guest chat, like I'm doing right now, I get sometimes people give me tips that I record in my note file for future reference when I become president. And I say tips, I mean like criminal gangs. One guy reported a bunch of people that are Muslims gathering in a certain area in New York. And he sent me the address. I can't do anything with it, but I certainly held on to it. When I become president, I can certainly set a task force of special ops to go in there and get rid of excess guns that they may have. We don't want to take away their rights to bear arms per se, but the idea of stockpiling weapons is going to be a thing of the past for religious groups. Anyone who's got a religious bend that wants to stockpile weapons, it could turn into a Waco event. Now, this doesn't apply to militia groups, but if it's militia groups and religious groups combined, then there's a problem. All right. So that's a real plan that I have to deal with the threat of potential terrorism in our country. It's well thought out, and it doesn't deny Muslims the right to pursue their religion, or anyone for that matter, Christians, Catholics, Jews, whatever. Go, David. Okay. Well, I want you to be unbanned, Flemsy. That's okay. I know. You said, thanks for unbanning me, Dave. I will never say I like Trump again. I actually think Trump is failure at everything he does. Flemsy, thanks. I don't want to have a strong arm in the room either. And I came down pretty hard on Deep Down last night. He came in under various personalities. But now he's got, interesting links. If Trump wins, military industrial complex will move to Europe. This is an interesting theory coming from Sputnik. Now, again, this could be biased news coming out of Russia. But let's face it, one of the sheikhs in the United Arab Emirates already said they're not going to trade oil with us if Trump wins. That's how angry he is about what he said about Muslims. Never been canceled, no. I do a show every night. My view on Islam is that if they do produce jihadist groups that are forming as sleeper cells in America, we're going to get to the bottom of that. We're going to use special forces to do it. But in no way am I going to ID Muslims or make it so it's wrong to pursue a religion. Our country was founded on freedom of religion. There's no way I'm going to retract that. That's the basis for our freedoms. It's inherent in the freedom of speech guaranteed by the First Amendment. Oh, the event in Chicago? Well, I think it's a planned event by the liberal left, the Occupy group. They're on call at all times to gather. So that can be easily formulated. We know that George Soros funded the Ferguson and the Baltimore rallies. He spent $32 million on one of those rallies. He literally funds these breakups. And that's the communist elite now. That's the best way to describe them. And they've occupied the Democratic Party, and Hillary is becoming more and more like a Marxist ideologue. And that's the problem. I'm trying to steer this country toward the centrist ideology that I believe is the way of the future. And I've been going up against all odds to do it, but hey, that's what we do here. Gee, I allowed guest chat, but nobody wants to chat. Or did I? Let's see what we got here. Okay, hi there, guest. Good evening. Yeah, well, they just want to create a media event. Death Valley's mysterious sailing stones caught on video. Scientists captured first ever time-lapse video of Death Valley's sailing stones moving across the desert. The sailing stones of Death Valley are a staple on alien conspiracy theory lists and discussions about baffling Earth phenomenon. Stones on the racetrack playa in Death Valley National Park, ranging in size from pebbles to boulders, move across the flat surface, leaving tracks. This phenomenon is made stranger by the fact that multiple stones appear to have moved synchronously, turning or reversing in a concert. The video is no longer available. Wow. So where's the video? What's the story without a video? Yeah. You're brain dead right there, mumbling. I'm sorry. Well, that was really a disappointment, wasn't it? They've got pictures of these stones that are probably a gravitational field of some sort. I mean, I'm going to assume it has something to do with gravity. Lobbyists, if Trump wins, military-industrial complex will move to Europe. Defense lobbyists claim billions in arms sales to repressive Middle East dictatorships will be lost. It may cost the defense industry billions of dollars in its illicit sales to repressive Middle East dictatorships, according to a recent report. You know, I don't want to go there. It's really kind of an irrelevant question at this point. If Donald Trump wants to behave that way, that's his choice. I would never alienate trading partners in any event, especially considering most of our GDP and the benefits of our GDP is coming from military hardware. I mean, I don't like the military-industrial complex. But at the same time, I don't want to see our economy collapse because we're not going to be able to sell F-15s to Egypt. I mean, that's ridiculous. And I'm wondering about trade relations with China if this guy were to implement his plan, 30% tariff. I've talked about a 15% ecological tariff. That's it. And there's a way in which they can avoid paying it if they comply with human rights and the ethical environmental standards that we propose. Okay, China is fragile, yeah. China is depegging from the US dollar. The yuan is pretty much holding on to its gold value. And I wouldn't doubt that they're going to have to retract to the gold position eventually. They don't have the strong marketing economy that they had 10 years ago. At the same time, their production is down. And what was really concerning is that China was recently claimed to be the #1 producer in the world. And that's not true. Their entire Chinese stock exchange index dropped 42% over the past year. So it's not exactly the vibrant economy we once thought it was. So we're pretty much neck and neck with China. America is. And there's nothing to worry about with China being an aggressive nation. I mean, even the islands in Southeast China Sea, the South China Sea, this new development that they have there, I don't think it's going to pose a problem for us. If they were to use that as a launch point to attack the Philippines, however, that would be a direct conflict with the U.S. Or Taiwan, that would be a direct conflict with the U.S. But I don't think they're going to use it as that. I think it's just a leverage point in their defense scenario. As soon as our country started the pivot to China policy, which Obama's been doing, we've got numerous jets in my area constantly flying because they use this northwest sector of the U.S. near Seattle as a position to strengthen the Pacific control of the Navy and Air Force. So that's only what we're doing. We probably precipitated what China did. All right. And I believe that North Korea is going to be preparing for war for a long time. Mind you, Obama has never even called Kim Jong-un and made a comment to him. Never once. He sent Dennis Rodman in to have beers with him. I mean, it's ridiculous. We should have contacted Kim Jong-un and worked out some sort of a discussion. So by not approaching a country for years, he's making a mistake. And when I was calling Obama out about Iran, and you know, for 4 or 5 years I was saying he hasn't reached out and made any efforts at détente with Iran, Out of the blue, John Kerry goes over there and starts a relationship, and now is forged a deal that screws us over royally. $155 billion in cash and credit is going to Iran, and now we are not getting anything from them. Oh, excuse me, we are getting a nuclear weapon. They're going to be allowed to create a nuclear weapon in Iran within 238 days. Here it is, the YouTube. The mystery of Death Valley's moving stones solved. Mython Joseph, I think you need to go back to the hovel where you came from. Yeah, we don't take demoralizers here very kindly. We're trying to build a consensus here, not have somebody running their mouth off, calling me names. So here's the mystery of the stones.
Research, the rock started to move. Rain had fallen the day before, and it formed a pond with a thin layer of ice.
You have a beautiful sunny day, you have a frozen surface of the pond, of this ice floating on a few inches of liquid water. And when ice breakup takes place, when the ice begins to melt just enough under the light breezes, that big ice sheets drive the rocks in front of them and just plow them along the bottom of this shallow pond.
By the end of the day, some of the stones had moved over 200 feet. Mr. Norris says it's very rare that all these conditions are just right for movement to take place, and he compares his chance to observe it all with winning the lottery.
Actually seeing the process explains so much. It's like the scales fall from your eyes. You begin to figure out all these phenomena. And now we can go out there and read that playa, all these tracks and trails and so forth. It now makes sense.
I want to pursue my own little truth effort. Does anyone know how Mexican jumping beans work? Does anyone know? You need to rest your head? Okay. The mystery of Mexican jumping beans. Are they bugs inside? There's a bug inside? Okay, I didn't know. Thank you. Problem solved. See how easy that was? See. Also known as frijoles saltarines, are seed pods that have been inhabited by a larva of a small moth. Thank you. Boy, I'm learning so much on the internet. It's great. I learned how a man who believes that he's some sort of the next Hitler or something. I'm not sure what he believes, but he reads the speeches of Hitler next to his bed, according to his wife Ivana. In their deposition during their lawsuit, their divorce, she said he had a book of Hitler's speeches next to his bed. How a guy like that called himself a uniter when he's clearly dividing the country over this issue of Muslims and IDing Muslims. I'm really quite shocked that he sees himself as a uniter. I just don't get that. Could it be he has no ability to assess his own, no self-awareness? Is that possible? Is it possible that a person with a lot of money everyone's afraid to say anything because for fear that they're going to be fired, would ever live in like a fishbowl mentality where he can do no wrong? You think that's possible? Walking around going, what did he say? He's fired! He criticized me. Oh, he's fired! And then he said recently that any media criticism will be dealt with illegality. There'll be a law against it, he said, when he's president. I would expect you to question everything I do. I would expect you to question me in the chat room every night when I talk to you on a nightly basis for at least an hour. I promise to have a chat room every night with the American people. And live interactive chat room too. I would expect you to criticize me. I wouldn't be doing my job if you didn't criticize me. I can't understand how anyone studying Hitler's speeches, trying to gain power in his speeches, then automatically wants to rescind our Bill of Rights and our right to speak out openly about our president. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm really concerned. A 13-foot sea creature washes up on the beach in Mexico. Was this a result of Fukushima radiation? Little Mexico, right over here. This mysterious creature. By the way, this is a long show, in case you're wondering. Oh, no problem. I'm just saying. For those of you who watch our show, we do have a 3 to 4 hour broadcast on YouTube. It records and it's uploaded. If you want to catch last night's broadcast, just go to the bottom of our website, AmericasThirdParty.com. And if you ever have any problems getting into the chat room, you can always check it out there too. If you have video problems in any one network, go to AmericasThirdParty.com. We usually have a good video signal going. Progressive rock legend Emerson dies, of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Wow. Let's go to the mysterious 13-foot creature first. Wow, looks like the Blob or something. Yes, you can. It was actually not, the video is not available right here. I don't have a copy of it on YouTube. Other people do. It's been copied. It's called Broken St. Obamas. Yeah, I impersonated the president in blackface. But I did my own videos. If you want to check those out, in 2014, I did another round of videos. I would give you the other videos, but YouTube told me I had to pull them off the air. And I talked to my attorney. He said, don't bother fighting them right now. We'll fight them later. But youtube.com/David John Sponheim is my website that has the blackface videos from 2014. The other ones were copied by someone else, and a guy made a Blu-ray disc of them and presented them as a for sale item. And they are in dance clubs around the world, ironically. I never made a profit on it. I'm not into money. I hope you understand that. All right. Do you always do what you do to tells you? Only when my attorney tells me to do. I would have fought them on it, but at this point, I felt that the fight would be later, when I take down their monopoly. It's going to be more important to me that to get the American people social rectification to what's been happening. For the government to use Google as a monitoring device to control our freedom is a complete breach of our rights. And you know, this recent battle between the FBI and Apple Computer, now it's gone back into Apple Computer's court. They're being charged with being a diversion. They're claiming that every one of those points that they made when they countersued the FBI has been just diversionary tactics. It's a diversion, the FBI says. When in fact, Apple's saying simply, you cannot have overreaching authority and take down encryption software. We need this in order to protect our clients. And frankly, if the FBI gets it with their leaks in the government, hackers will get this encryption decoding software and crack every single phone. I mean, there's got to be a layer of defense for privacy. But the FBI doesn't see it that way. It's all their way or the highway. And that's something I agree with, that Apple is doing the right thing. Microsoft is trying to stand up for Apple too. And frankly, Donald Trump doesn't even understand the issue. If the government wanted to step in and stop encryption software and hardware encryption from happening, where were they 10 years ago when it was being developed, when the R&D was being put into it? Where were they? Now that the government's 10 years behind on the issue of privacy, we're seeing a bunch of incompetent idiots, and even the expert McAfee, John McAfee, has stated that the government already can crack a phone. They just need a hardware, software, 2 separate engineers, and they need to use a deassembler code that they can reassemble the language and hack within 30 minutes any phone. So the government's really overreaching their bounds and their authority. I agree with Apple on this one. Donald Trump should wake up and realize that he's literally violating our privacy by saying these things. Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, mysterious 13-foot sea creature. I'll call it the Blob. It looks something from a terrifying horror movie, but this is a mystery sea creature that's baffled experts after washing up on a tourist beach in Mexico. Yeah, not much to say about this creature, but other than it smells really bad. Rosa Camacho, the coordinator of the Civil Guard and Fire Brigade, believes the animal had not been dead for a long time, but has started to rapidly decay. No idea what kind of it's just a bag of flesh. So let's just suffice to say that the radiation is killing off the planet. I think we're in agreement on that. All right, great. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. So the extinctions just keep coming, and the two parties don't even address the problem. Yeah, Trump wants to regulate the internet. Isn't that amazing? Comcast? That is fascist. I would definitely not want that. Obama on Apple. Okay. U.S. military won't hold ISIS detainees more than 30 days. Policy not nailed down. Again, this could be proof that the U.S. created ISIS. Wouldn't that be a real reveal if we get to the third party to the top of the list and start investigating the origins of ISIS and find out that it came from Obama and Hillary and the CIA and how they funded terrorism in Libya? Oh, yeah. He's saying we can't fetishize our phones above other values. So he literally is throwing us under the bus as well, claiming we're fetishizing our phones by simply having privacy. Can you believe this? What a puppet. Well, let's be clear. Technology is evolving so rapidly that new questions are being asked. Is he a robot? I think he is. We need something to like music to lighten the spirit here. This is getting very dark. NSA certified Obama phones, yeah. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, we got some music we pulled from a library of really good music from Scissor Fight. He assembles the stuff on an audio editing device, and it's a good job. Uh-oh. Well, let's be clear. I'll pull it from this library instead. That's a good song, yeah. There's a lot of good songs in the library. Okay, yeah, I want to get to the news and just do a round robin of the news and pick up from there in just a second. Feel the groove. Alien Baby, yeah. The future of artificial intelligence. Scary. The microchipping of the human brain. When will they stop, really? When are they going to stop invading our privacy? When are they going to do it? Well, they're never going to stop. They're going to want to install brain chips in everybody eventually. So we've got to stop them right now politically, folks. Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with this encroachment of our privacy in every way, because they have plans to implement a greater police state and ultimately implant chips in our brains. I'm not making this up. It is pretty, though, to put the brain up there and show you a chip. Pretty. He's got great tunes, and if you guys want to check out his tunes, we have it at coolrock.com. On the right-hand side, you can go to his library of tunes that are free to download. You guys can check it out and play it in the background. He's got great stuff. Coolrock.com. That's one quick way to find it. Yeah. All right, thank you so much for coming in. Many of you are wondering, how are we going to map our way out of this nightmare of the two-party system? Well, this lovely lady, Sarah, is here to talk about life in general in America. We are Americans, average Americans. We started America's Third Party in 2008. And we do believe that certain things are important. Your right to privacy is paramount. We also believe that we need to get out of foreign wars. We want to legalize marijuana, and Sarah has never smoked marijuana in her life.
Mongolian sheep fur.
Yeah, that's Mongolian sheep fur. Isn't that a cool jacket? Her sister got her that. Yeah, Sarah never wanted to try marijuana, but she recognizes that people who want to smoke should be able to have that choice. It's an individual right. It's a victimless crime, if you want to call it a crime.
I change that past tense to current tense and future tense.
Yeah,
never wanted, never wants, never will.
Never will.
Want.
Well, no, if something happens, like you came down with an illness, God forbid, and you had a need for an appetite,
well,
would you consider that? I mean, I'm not.
The only drugs I will take are drugs that my doctors tell me I really, really need.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. That's a good point of reference, really.
If my doctors don't tell me, if my doctors say, well, this might make you feel a little better, I'm not going to take it. But if the doctor says, you need this for your health, and I'm not going to ask the doctor for that.
Right.
If the doctor tells me, you must have this for your health.
Only under those circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good attitude. I like that. Don't smoke marijuana, folks.
No, I don't think that the government should control the weed.
Right.
I think that it's up to the individual to do something. I mean, to do whatever they want with their own body. Just like I believe, cigarettes are legal.
Yeah.
Tobacco cigarettes are legal. They're not good for people. Some people can't stop smoking them because they're so addicted. Mm-hmm. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
And yet
it's good to be closer to the mic.
They're legal.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem with any drug being legal. People should be educated about the dangers of them, just like they're educated currently about the dangers of cigarettes. I think that, though, ultimately it's up to the people to decide what they want to do with their own body.
Right.
I mean, I eat chocolate.
Right.
I mean, I
know like
it's
chocolate,
not,
yeah.
But it's, anyway.
You wouldn't want to be told you can't eat chocolate. You would be offended if I said, I'm sorry, but chocolate is illegal, Sarah. You're not allowed to possess it in the city of whatever.
I mean, I think it's up to the people to make their own decisions for what they want.
I agree.
To do with their body. But like I said, I won't be imbibing of marijuana unless a doctor says, you need this for your health. And I'll say, I don't think so. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And they're like, if they tell me I have to have it.
Well, there was a woman, a kindergarten teacher, was arrested for being 5 times the legal limit in her classroom.
I heard about that in Washington.
You heard about that?
Yeah, and I heard something about like the student. Mm-hmm. It was a kindergarten teacher, and the student went to the office and said, "My teacher's acting kind of weird." Mm-hmm. A student went to the office, and then they tested. They went, and she was completely drunk. And to be 5 times the legal limit. That is not, safe. I was partying last night. You have to be drinking like constantly to be 5 times the legal limit. Well, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I could
drinking in her classroom. It was not marijuana. It was drinking. She was drinking. So alcohol is really impairing way more than marijuana. The studies they tested the person's ability to stay within the lines.
She tested at the highest that the test will actually register.
0.40.
I mean, that's
alcohol level.
Seriously drunk.
Yeah.
And so I'm very glad that they fired her.
But you see how
under the influence of alcohol, and alcohol is legal. No one under that influence should be.
Not my fault. Not my fault.
Children.
No. The protest in Chicago is the result of Donald Trump and his hardcore policies, and the liberal left being funded for rioting.
I think it's actually both things.
It is.
I think.
That's what I said.
Well, like you said, but not just the liberal left is funding this now because they're.
Go ahead.
Welcome to.
Thank you. There are Republicans that do not want Trump to win.
Oh, right.
And when you were talking about this,
Good
about
point.
the of course, Occupy Wall Street was heavily funded by George Soros. Like David was saying, a lot of those protesters were actually funded. And what dawned on me is just recently they said that the Koch brothers, also
big internet tycoons were gathering together. They're
Zuckerberg, all of these people
Yep.
were gathering together to try to come up with a plan to defeat Donald Trump. Perhaps they got a hold of his itinerary, his advanced itinerary, and actually paid people to protest.
They did. We saw a tweet that came into the show
So it probably
from one of
wasn't
those
just-
groups.
yeah.
It was Scissorfight found the tweet that organized the entire event, and we're not sure who inspired it. This is a really shocking story. I've been saying all along that they've been chipping soldiers, but DARPA already has been implanting chips in the brains of wounded U.S. soldiers returning from the Middle East, folks. This is a really amazing story that, on the heels of discussing the chip issue, the microchip issue, which I don't think we need to forget, is out there.
I'm glad you quit drinking 699.
This story is extremely disturbing. The possibilities are enormous. Let me read a little bit of it.
Absolutely.
The idea of chipping soldiers has been talked about. The Defense Advanced Research Project, DARPA, says the wounded soldiers returning from campaigns in Afghanistan and Iraq are having computer chips implanted in their brains to help them heal. That's a slippery slope, don't you think? In August of 2014, Obama unveiled 19 plans he was enacting to improve the mental health of U.S. soldiers and veterans. I mean, we're playing Frankenstein's monster here, and nobody's overseeing this program.
Right.
There's no oversight. A lot of this is contracted through private organizations after the MK Ultra project was revealed in the 1990s against their wishes. Apparently they had left documents with the USDA from animal testing studies, and somebody discovered them, and they did an entire Senate subcommittee hearing on the MK Ultra project in 1995, and ever since then the government's gone dark. So they actually do these events through contracted workers now. But DARPA and MK Ultra is very much alive, folks. We've got a lot to be concerned about with this, especially for our freedom. Let's not forget how important that is. It's unbelievable. There's a story that I uncovered. Dupster uncovered this. Dupster found a link to a study that was being conducted at El Reno, Oklahoma on chipping, on RFID chipping and brain chips. El Reno, Oklahoma happens to be the place where 46 high-level drug dealers were released from prison a year and a half ago. And I'm questioning, were those drug dealers chipped? Was that part of their release to sign off on that? I mean, this is a huge question, which really begs a lot of different ramifying effects of this question. Do they have the right to chip anybody? Do they have the right to chip prisoners that accept the deal? I mean, are chips safe? Are chips, in fact, something that we want as a species? Have we discussed the ethics of this? Is transhumanism being forced on the American people? These are questions, I think, that are not even being addressed in the mainstream media right now. David, don't talk about this. It's a path many people have gone. Oh, say Diaper Man comes in and tells me, are you wearing a diaper because you have a chip in your head? Why would you say that? Are you government? Are you telling me I can't talk about the chips in people's heads? You sound like Donald Trump. Diaper Man, are you Donald Trump? Just come out and just spell it out right there. Just tell the truth. Real Dr. Phil says, I'm leaving this chat. I just get ignored. I know it's on purpose because when I'm being supportive, I get ignored. But the moment I say something negative, I get a response by getting purged or banned. I'm so sorry you feel that way, Real Dr. Phil. I really am. I've been neglectful. I have not noticed all the good things you've been saying.
Focus on the positive.
I'm sorry I have not noticed the good things. Did you get this link from Memi Lake?
No.
Okay, let me just take a look.
Lake.
Oh, Mimi Lake, yeah.
Meme.
Poor Dr. Phil. He feels he's... Wait, I thought weather modification was a conspiracy
Today
theory.
is March 3.
Okay, we'll look at that. Thank you, Meme Lake. Something to look at later. There's no rebellion going on against Dave. It's against Donald. Donald put himself out there, making statements about an entire religion. I never made a statement negative about Muslims in my entire time on our show. Over 7,000 hours of broadcasting, I've never come out against Muslims per se. The problem with Donald Trump is he's taken my ideas, like no refugees. I've been saying that for 2 years, and he instantly thought I meant Muslims. I wasn't targeting Muslims. When you take my ideas, Donald, try to get the specifics. That's really important when copying and plagiarizing people. But you're welcome to steal my ideas. It's fine. I mean, whatever, as long as they're not plagiarized in a negative way. Shocking moment, a man catches his cheating wife at her lover's house. I'm not sure what to make of that. Thank you, Diaper Man. Diaper Man just said I'm a stand-up guy. Coming from Diaper Man, that's pretty impressive. First on CNN, U.S. says North Korean submarine is missing. You think it may have sunk? Is that possible? Alert. North Korean submarine missing. Quickly go through here real quick. The North Korean regime lost contact with one of the submarines earlier this week. It was off the coast of North Korea. It's kind of a non-story. Okay, what else? It ran out of fuel or something. They ran out of cabbage from the Camp 22 facility. They probably... Maybe they went up for air or something. Who knows? Shocking moment of a man catches his wife cheating. Okay, this was the big news story that Sarah didn't see when she came in here, and I'm going to step out for a bit. You can talk to her. But this was the story that came on the pipe a few hours ago. Chicago, unrest. I'll let her handle it. I'll be back shortly.
Yeah, that sounds good. A single computer ran an entire country? Activist posts? That looks interesting. I just have so many darn things open. Like, I don't know what this is. Oh, Russia Today is... It just... When they're loading like that, I have to get rid of them. Like, what is that? Okay. Closing out of all kinds of things. See if we can open him when he comes back. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of this. Fantastic, okay. And I think I'm gonna do that one. Fantastic, there we go. Take him out to dinner, 744? I don't know. 744 if they really will. We'll see. It remains to be seen. If they do, they're going to probably wait until he gets into office. Which is 2016. Wait till 2020, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about, 743. Yes, I do have cool shoulders made from Mongolian sheep. So that's good. Is it Rothschild Bank? No, I don't know. You'd have to give me a link, 743, which means you would have to log in. I could check on Google News to see if there's something like that you're referring to, I suppose. Just David has so many things open. So many tabs. As he clicks on everything you do. An RFID chip now being issued in Hannah, Wyoming as part of a new Obamacare plan. I'm sure they're not necessarily installing that in people. Well, I think that David is a very honest person, and I think that it's going to take all of us working diligently to get him on the ballot. If we want him on the ballot, then we have to work to get him on the ballot. Yeah, 744, you might be right. It was pretty good, Grizzly Ray. Pretty good.
Welcome to IB Times UK's weekly roundup of the biggest video game news stories from the past 7 days. We start with Microsoft revealing major changes to its Xbox gaming division, which will now work towards a unified system that allows for more games to be developed jointly on Xbox One and PC. Head of Xbox Phil Spencer also revealed that the future of Xbox hardware would be more incremental and PC-like, with iterative updates.
I'm gonna have to close out of that one because I didn't know which one was up. Okay. No, I am not qualified to be a live-in nurse, so I won't be doing that. So racial tensions explode at Donald Trump rallies. St. Louis protesters and supporters of Donald Trump clashed in sometimes violent fashion. And Donald Trump has a history of endorsing violence against protesters. And Trump cancels his Chicago rally, says he didn't want to see anyone hurt. A Trump supporter punched a protester. Wow. Wow. There's some kind of peace event that's hosting lives of South Sudan leaders that's tied to rape. Scott Kelly is going to retire next month. He was NASA's one-year astronaut. No, it's not okay, Amanda. Don't punch anyone. I know, my mood ring did match my squirrel fur and hair purposely that way, except I mood ring. Something happened. Alright. No, Amanda, there's no reason to hurt anyone ever. Wow. The Darkness is a new movie with Kevin Bacon. That's cute. The True... Yes, sure, I'm interested in Theodore Roosevelt.
I finished your hot cocoa there.
Oh, thank you.
I added some cocoa to it.
I was going to... I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
Based on it.
Cool. So
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe you could find that out, Amanda B, and bring that back to us.
Amanda, in 2009, they checked how many businesses were closing down, and that year, 15,000 U.S. businesses were selling out or closing their doors. So every year, progressively, our country's been losing American businesses. We either sell them or buy out experts like Donald Trump or Mitt Romney or the Bain Capital or the Carlyle Group or the Cerberus Corporation. These are big buyout companies. They profit from the sale of companies, smaller companies. They buy them and then bankrupt them and then sell them. Much like Donald's 4 corporate bankruptcies, these other companies do this as a rule, as a business. That's how they make money. That's the problem. Because the worst possible people are trying to profit from the end of America. And we've got to stop the bleed. We've got to stop the drain of American businesses and American jobs.
Radio broadcaster hijacks a listener's smart home with Amazon Echo.
Wow.
Smart homes can be hacked by malicious actors over the internet.
Bless you. That's right. Write my name in. Let me get the write-in thing going on the screen. I don't have that going right now.
Ben Carson, what a joke.
Yeah, I know. He's trying to position himself for a vice presidential endorsement.
What a joke.
I know.
Yeah, he is. He endorses Trump.
Yeah, right away, like a good person.
Oh, first he called for, I don't know what he called for, but then he's like, No, he's endorsing Trump. What a joke.
I know.
He's such a...
He's so fickle. He has no backbone. It's like he's just like... I don't know. When he went after his mom with a ball-peen hammer, and he wrote about it in a book. I mean, and then he wants to run for president. I mean, what was the guy thinking? Why would anyone go after their mother with a ball-peen hammer?
Well, if that's the case, I mean, maybe it's years ago, but the thing I don't like is he just seems like a pushover.
He is, yeah. That's the problem. Not enough this strength of spirit. We need more people with strength of spirit, not some egomaniac like Hillary or Donald. Comcast believes that Donald Trump is only running to revive his brand. Being Comcast is in corporate business, he says what Donald is doing is trying to simply stay alive in the business world by reinventing himself as a presidential candidate. That's a very interesting thing. This is not. This is actually from. Was it Australian?
You just said Mongolian.
Mongolian. Thank you. Mongolian.
That's what you said.
Yeah, that's what your sister said. It was Mongolian
I could take
sheep
it off
fur.
and look at it.
Don't worry about it. It's Mongolian sheep fleece, whatever.
No, I think he's going to keep trying 743.
I think Kasich is holding the line for centrists. He's the only guy out there in the Republicans that even remotely resembles some of my policies. But my policies are more left-wing, obviously legalizing marijuana, breaking up monopolies like Google. But I'm not a socialist. I'm not a Democrat, a tax and spend Democrat. I recognize that we need to get fiscally conservative here. We can't just bankroll programs and create bigger bureaucracy like we currently have done under the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. No, this was ethically harvested from Mongolian sheep. Did not hurt. We did not hurt the Mongolian sheep. It was ethically harvested. And the nice thing about this type of wool, it grows back. Yeah, Mongolian sheep. Yeah. The sheep was not a Mongolian. It was a Mongolian sheep. Yes. Work with it. Give me something I can work with. Diaper Man has something. Let's take a look. I'll be right back. I'm going to go fix my hair.
Okay.
What is this? I don't really want to shake my booty right now. Thank you, Diaper Man. Yeah, the sheep is still alive. That was hard.
Yeah, there you go. I'll have to look at OneNote and Evernote. Microsoft is trying to lure users away from Evernote with a tool that lets people migrate their notes from Evernote's note-taking service. Snapchat has a secret team possibly building a pair of smart glasses. I'll have to look at rethink the selfie through lenses. I'll have to look at Snapchat. I don't use it currently. Yeah, exactly. Keep feeding the sheep. Let them grow their fur. I know, exactly, 218. Yeah. It doesn't work with me, 218. I have awesome hair. No, I wouldn't sell it. And you need to learn to spell. BALD. I know. Actually, I commend you for thinking it's ED, but it's not. Thank you. Yeah, orangutan, yeah, pretty much. Yes, force a recount. Right in David John Sponheim. What David says. You need to learn to spell. Orangutan. You're typing with your toes? Okay, thank you, Diaper Man. Doesn't it feel weird wearing a dead animal around my neck? No, it kind of feels cool. I'm cool like that, Super Dave. The more people talk about me, the more my stock goes up. There's Sarah Hart's stock somewhere that I should actually invest in, so I own a little bit of my own stock. Thank you, Ace to Ace. How many of you are using Snapchat? Do you use Snapchat, Amanda B? I don't. I use Twitter a little bit, but no, I'm just David's awesome partner.
Yes, you are awesome. And you've
God.
had a long week, haven't you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Super Dave if it was soft and furry.
Yeah, this is an extraordinary. It's a Wilson's House of Leather suede jacket. With
So yes,
Mongolian.
it did come from part of a dead animal.
Well, the animal,
no.
The animal's still alive.
Well, for the fur up here, but I doubt the animal's still alive for this part.
It was ethically harvested from a cow, and it's growing back. Sorry,
Oh,
I had to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
The tragedy. The cow was going to die anyway. They were used for meat, and yeah. All right. So we are looking at the news now. Donald Trump, of course, is in the news all the time because he has lots of money and he buys politicians and media time. And now he's in the news because people are pissed off at him. Biodome is going great. It's actually really well built and it's still standing. It's been, 8-9 years now since the original Biodome was created? Get ready, Donald Trump. You're about to run into a buzzsaw. Now, the rhetoric of the Republican dogmatic leading presidential candidate, Donald Trump, is about ready to get taken down a peg or two by the liberal left. What's happening in Chicago is just the beginning. At last night's debate, Donald Trump lorded over his rivals with supreme confidence. Gone was narcissism, rambling, insult-spraying Trump. So he's humbling himself, and I think he's losing his majority of people because they're seeing him kind of hem and haw and flip-flop on the no refugee thing. That was an interesting, simple fact. Yeah. Rubio's urging supporters to vote for Kasich in Ohio to slow down Trump. So they're trying all kinds of new tactics. Rubio talked to the Koch brothers and apparently got some funding from them. He wants to, do their bidding. I think the industrial leaders in our country are shocked that the powers that are powering up Donald Trump, like the World Bank and the Federal Reserve, that they have more power than big, huge industrial leaders like Berkshire Hathaway, like the Koch brothers. It's just kind of amazing. I think some people are kind of shocked that their money isn't big enough to control this election. Narco Lubio. Well, thanks, Sarah, for coming in. Here's your hot cocoa. Don't forget that.
I'm going to take that.
Enjoy your respite.
I love that chaos order thing. I'm going to...
Yeah, let's make copies of
I
that.
need to make some coffee.
I brought that out from... Let me hand it to me. I want to show it to people in the room. Check out this picture that I picked up from an old friend who's no longer living. That's what we're going to be making out of this nightmare we have currently in America. Slowly converting chaos to order. That's what we have to do. It's a very slow process. Isn't that a cool picture? Thank you.
Very cool picture.
Well, the Biodome clips, they are inspiring. We could do a lot more with the Biodome thing. I wanted to really test the waters with politics before I started making YouTube videos again. I found out over the years that there's so much hatred out there for anyone who's an average American. And there's so much censorship going on in the mainstream media, literally stopping the free press from working. And we've never really had a chance to question the two parties in the mainstream media, so the American people have been nullified for years, decades. We have. We've been completely nullified. So what we're doing tonight is simply addressing the issues. Like guest off. That's one of the issues. Yeah, the news is dead. Business's news was more interesting, but none of us are investing in the stock market, so who cares if it went up 200 plus points. GM buys cruise automation in a bid for autonomous driving. So General Motors wants to get in on the autonomous driving operation thing. Hey, do you know that your privacy is really at risk if you're driving a car past 2005? Ever since 2005, the OBD2 system, which is a standard in automotive industry development, OBD2, has been modernized to include Wi-Fi. So cars can be hacked externally if you have a newer than 2005 car. That's just Big Brother trying to kind of tap in on our lives. I purposely have cars before 2005 because I personally think the quality's better. The steel construction is better in most cars prior to 2005. I'm a big supporter of the used car market. I don't like to see wasteful spending. And General Motors has been propped up, too big to fail company. We've already built it up. We gave them $55 billion under Obama. Yeah. The news isn't really impartial and fair. It's just not really news. It glosses over the minor events and completely ignores major things like radiation poisoning in the Pacific Ocean, GMOs in our diet, the advance of transhumanism and artificial intelligence, an artificial war inspired by the CIA to profit from opium production in Afghanistan, the unnecessary use of the TSA in our airports, and the veritable violation of our privacy by machines that have low levels of radiation. Now, if you go to an airport now, you have to do the machine, the rapid scanner. If you don't do it, and yeah, they're pushing a ship too. So we are basically up against the wire right now. We've got the slow march of artificial intelligence, roboticism, the future of the makings of a totalitarian regime, corporate owned, and we are literally right on the verge of what appears to be some sort of a global climate change, but what is actually being manufactured. So what you're breathing right now is actually being dumped in the atmosphere with the intent that somehow they're going to limit global warming. And we aren't even facing global warming. We're actually in a situation where the Earth is actually getting colder. So all the scientists that are liberal, leftists, global change enthusiasts that are constantly worried, they don't even acknowledge that chemtrails are going on or that weather modification is going on. So when we look at a story like this that I'm going to bring in the show,
today is March 3, 2006. (2016). This is a comment that I received on the video I uploaded earlier today. Google, in all their infinite wisdom, has decided that it is in all of our best interests to selectively censor comments by sticking them in the spam box so the rest of the YouTube population is unable to see them. This one is pure gold. It says, "I'm Jeremy, I'm 27, and I work and live in Covina, California. I love the work you do through YouTube and public participation. I've been wanting to show you this article from Pasadena Star regarding Los Angeles Department of Public Works notice of intent to conduct a weather modification program. I doubt many people actually noticed this, buried on page 11 of the classified ads. Check it out." So check it out, I did. So this is it right here. This is from the Pasadena Star News, a local paper, and as he said, it's on page 11 of the classifieds. So Jeremy, I want to praise you for having vigilance, because this is what we all need to be doing. We need to be keeping our eyes open for these types of things. Me personally, I do scan the public notices, but keep in mind that I just said scan. I don't really read them as closely as I should. So once again, great work finding this, because you're probably right. I bet hardly anybody even saw this. And
there you go. So they're doing it in plain sight. They're hiding in plain sight. They're literally writing in the public review that they're going to be dumping chemicals, doing weather modification. Echo off. Doing weather modification. They're going to be dumping. They're literally doing the same thing they've been doing for years. You put a little notice in a business column and you comply with the law. Your public service requirement is over. You've done your job of exposing the information. You didn't broadcast on the news. You just stuck it in an article. So yeah, this is telltale signs of what they're doing to our beautiful planet without even consulting us. Without having no peer review, no studies to see if this technique that they are using is going to work. They're just doing it. They're dumping chemicals in the air. How different is that than somebody dropping mace in your face? I mean, literally. What's preventing somebody from just going up and macing somebody? And that's essentially what they're doing. They're macing the whole race. So we have an obligation as a political movement to raise questions about this weather modification. And if they're doing it for a real purpose and it makes sense, great. But if they're listening to this absolute nutcase that I keep showing you on our show, his name is David Keith, who thinks you can levitate particles.
Engineering tools to affect it. Now suppose that space aliens arrived on, maybe they're going to land at the UN headquarters down the road here, or maybe they'll pick a smarter spot. But suppose they arrive and they give you a box, and the box has two knobs. One knob is the knob for controlling global temperature, maybe another knob is a knob for controlling CO2 concentrations. You might imagine that we would fight wars over that box, because we have no way to agree about where to set the knobs. We have no global governance, and different people will have different places they want it set. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. It's not very likely. But we're building that box. The scientists and engineers of the world are building it piece by piece in their labs. Even
building the box piece by piece in the labs. And we are going to implement a global weather modification. I should get my vampire things to do this. And we are going to drop lithium and biological agents and nanoparticles on the people to measure the distance of the clouds and the wind and how it moves around. Blah. Okay, I'll put guest chat back on. Thank you. So yeah, it's a little concerning when they're dumping crap in the air and macing the human race, don't you think? So there's ample evidence now that they've followed the pathway of this airhead, this chemtrail head. And we're sitting there breathing this crap. God knows what it's going to do. Where are the long-term studies on our bodies? They don't exist. Where is the impact on the environment? The studies, they don't exist. They just went ahead and did it. Yeah. Because they have all the money. I only turned guest chat off because I was being attacked by some Nazis in our chat room. Trump supporters that don't like me. Yeah. Okay, I want everyone to know that that we're being invaded by our own government. They're taking our rights away. There's more swattings going on in America than any other country in the world. Swattings are a gross violation of our rights. The fact that the government doesn't turn up any real, criminals in these swatting attacks, they've used them as training exercises for local police departments, is an atrocity. So without any accountability, we're going to be stuck with this scenario until we actually get a political party to challenge the two parties. That's how simple it is. Meanwhile, they're planning circuitry and artificial intelligence and transhumanism. They're dumping chemicals in the air. They might as well just take a big pile of crap and cover the earth with it. And we're sitting here going, oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. They probably got some artificial intelligence orb out there trying to, organize a martial law scenario for the entire country and put us all at risk. Yeah, martial law is coming, smoke break things. Yeah. And Trump is very much a clownish guy, I agree. I've been accused of being clownish, but I don't have the same lingo he has. I don't come down hard on your First Amendment. I don't attack Muslims simply because they're different religion than mine. I mean, there's a lot of things that Trump goes over the edge on. I wouldn't tell Megyn Kelly she's bleeding from the eyes or whatever. I wouldn't engage in a war of words with talking about my finger size and as it compares to penis size. I mean, this is not the behavior of a presidential candidate. It's the behavior of a buffoon who's using all of his power to control the destiny of our great nation and put it in a very dark, fascistic place. Yeah. Trump paid those protesters to make the left look even worse. That's a weird take on the protest Chicago rally that happened. Yeah. Well, we've seen a lot of these things come and go. Chat room celebrity. Iran damages September 9/11 victims. Iran ordered to pay $10.5 billion by a U.S. judge for 9/11. Even though there's no evidence of Tehran directly connected to the attack. Huh. Oh, by the way, this is symbolizing what they're doing to our entire country right here. The big pile of crap and the digital RF frequencies, It's the Borg. Well, thank you. Well, the tie loves you too. Thank you for loving my tie. Just don't get my tie too excited. It might just have like fun tonight. We wouldn't want that. So yeah, judges are so disconnected. I'm surprised they can rule on any case like this case right here. Iran is ordered to pay $10.5 billion in damages for 9/11. How can a judge rule on this current argument between Apple and the FBI when the judge doesn't even understand the internet, let alone encryption and decryption software? And why is the FBI suing Apple 10 years after the fact? Is our government really 10 years behind? I think it is. Oh my God, it's Boink. Hold the show. Wait a second. It's been a while, man. We had a vigil for you the other night. We were worried about you. Somebody said you were in the hospital. Are you out of the hospital now? Boink came in the show, everybody. He's a longtime viewer. And his story is relatively tragic. Yeah. You've had a lot of serious mishaps happen in your life. All because just one thing led to another, right? It's been hard. So you had to go through the horrible experience of having colitis, am I right? I'm just tracking what's been going on. Did it get worse than that? You lost your home? Yeah, we thought you died, man. We were all praying for you the other day. They put him on so many painkillers, he probably couldn't go to the bathroom, and then they reversed it. And then, okay. The CIA FBI offices Building 7 went boom. What are the chances? Yeah, Building 7, in case you want to know about 9/11, folks, Building 7 was not hit by a plane. Emphatically not hit by a plane. Some people don't even know if the planes were really real. We talk about that on Truth Tuesday. We will be closing our border to many illegal Mexicans and other illegals. We have to build the 1,000-mile fence. I told you that's high priority. My idea of a 1,000-mile fence is simply to provide security for our nation, not to keep us in, per se. But when I say closing the borders, we'll still have open transfer of people through our existing border stations. But if we have to close the border for a few months, just to find out where the leaks are coming from, it's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out. Yeah. So you're bankrupt, you lost your leg in a car accident, you can't do He said, never do adult films, folks. His life, let me give you a little story behind Boink. I'll just take a moment, if you don't mind, Boink. You should write a book. You really should. I mean, you should find somebody who likes to write and sit down and write a book. He has done over 1,347 scenes in 3 years. I think that number is correct. Where a man is being exploited to make money in the porn industry, and then he gets a lot of quick cash. He goes out of his way to buy a Ferrari, or was it a Porsche? Or either one. You lose the car. You end up buying a house, and now you've lost your house and you're bankrupt. And all your money's gone. And he has his Boxster. Okay, it's a Porsche Boxster. Yeah, so you've basically put yourself in a very bad position when you decided to go down that GoPro camera route. I remember when you first came in my room about 4 years ago, you were talking about your GoPro and how, you got to get into this, man, and take pictures of yourself and do these. And then you got into the industry with that GoPro, I remember. Okay, the Dow is breaking above a bullish chart level first time this year. Showing resilience to the U.S. dollar. Oh, I heard Barlow died, too, of AIDS. His friend Barlow from the porn industry died of AIDS. That's pretty tragic, man. Trump doesn't, he's only bringing up the 1,000-mile fence idea because I'm the one who came up with it 8 years ago. Guess 262. Yeah. Trump got the 1,000-mile idea from me, as did Michelle Bachmann. So, being he talks about it a lot, he talks about a wall, and we don't have the money to have a wall built, and we certainly can't build Mexico for it. So, the 1,000-mile fence idea is real. My idea is to rip down the FEMA camp fencing in the northern section of our country. Roll it up, take it to the southern border, roll it out using prison labor from illegal alien prison labor. There's about 400,000 people in our country every year we're paying for to sit in a jail cell. So why don't put them to work, give them 3 months of work detail, and then they can earn a buck a day, and we can give them their walking papers and deport them. As long as they're not hardened criminals with capital offenses, we can put them to work at the border fence. And it's cheap labor. We can use the fencing we already have. But Donald Trump didn't listen to the whole story when I delivered my message to he was in our chat room in 2012. Or at least we think he was. Okay, Dow breaks above a bullish chart level first time this year. It's peaked above its 200-day moving average first time this year, yeah. Well, the thing about our nation, it rose at 218 points. Our nation's Dow Jones Industrial Average is really a reflection of the strength of our dollar. We still have a very strong consumer economy. Service sector is still kicking along. People are still buying things. Well, if he did plagiarize my ideas, he can go ahead and take my ideas. I don't care. If he wants to take my ideas, that's fine. It's not. I'm not going to pursue any kind of legal action against him stealing 6 ideas of mine. No big deal. I don't mind. In the long run, you'll realize that I'm the source of the ideas, and the American people will make the right decision. Writing my name in, by the way, is flipping the two-party system off. It's saying goodbye to the two-party system. Bye. Later. Hasta la vista, baby. Hillary Clinton lauds Reagan on AIDS. A backlash erupts. Wow. Yeah, stories are just... I've got a story I haven't talked to you about. An elderly man. This is a case of brutality, folks. An elderly man was taken out of his... He was basically getting in his own house. He was confused and hallucinating from Alzheimer's. And the police decided he was breaking and entering into his own house, and they beat him up. He put him in the ICU, intensive care unit, for a few days. The man was confused, and people told him, hey, he's got Alzheimer's, don't do this. And they just kept beating him. Yeah, folks, rubber up. Follow Boink's advice. Thank you. Barlow died from using no rubber. Yeah. And some folks are worried about it being dormant with them. No, I believe it. So Barlow was contaminated with AIDS, and he was involved in sex with on-screen personalities that believe that it may have been active or dormant. Yeah, Donald Trump was actually on our show watching us on Ustream. Now, we are not broadcasting on Ustream anymore, but we emphatically saw a guy come in our room named Donald Trump, and he had the name Donald Trump. And what's really strange, it costs a lot of money to have a name on Ustream. It's not some easy thing you just don't get when you sign up to an account. And Ustream is used specifically for just major broadcast events. It's gone by the wayside in terms of a popular chat video network. But so Barlow was a normal guy, and this happens. Yep. The orangutan coat was from Mongolian wool from a sheep. It was ethically harvested. So I don't think calling Sarah's coat an orangutan coat is very appropriate. You have no money and you have no leg, so who cares? Have you funded Razor? Get up a GoFundMe page, man. Tell your story. Seriously, GoFundMe. Try it. Yeah, definitely. That should be your next move, man. Your story's compelling. People care. You know, a lot of people don't realize all those porn actors, they don't get paid residuals. It's like a one-time thing. You shoot your load and you're done. 1,347 scenes in 3 years. Do you have any idea how much sex that is? Oh, so you went to San Diego to clear your head? Good. Well, it is not orangutan fur. It's, like I said, Mongolian wool. Could we make this story a little bit more mindless? Never lied. I don't lie at all. That's an outright lie what you're saying there. I'm going to purge it, 974. People doubt honest people. Isn't that weird? And then they think your kindness is weakness. We are living in a world of sharks and cutthroat scumbags that come in our show and they do. Yeah, thank you. Government can't let smartphones be black boxes, Obama says. Obama, the guy standing up for what, nobody? The lame duck president who's proven to be a puppet for the corporate elite is now making a statement about how the government can't let smartphones be black boxes. Isn't that amazing? He wants to pry into everybody's privacy. How many Americans are domestic terrorists? Seriously. I mean, are there? I mean, I can't even spot any. I mean, of course we hear about ISIS popping up everywhere, but there's always some, Middle Eastern student who came over here on a work visa. But I mean, seriously, why are they brazenly trying to take over our freedoms and break through encryption codes that Apple needs when they sell their code? When they sell their phones, they rely on that. Customers want this. Trump University was an American online education company. After multiple lawsuits, it's now defunct. What a scam. Yeah, definitely. Trump University. Yeah, it's got 3 lawsuits still pending, I understand. Yeah, that's right. The producers only cared about the middle leg there, Boink. My ego has been completely ripped apart. I don't have an ego. It's been disassembled. And I want to thank all the trolls for that. It took a lot of soul searching to realize that I didn't need an ego after all. That, many people are going to try to find weakness and flaws in everybody and everyone. And I can't help you. Good evening, Sir Waffles. Dave, why are people saying that you were involved in filming those types of erotic videos? I never was, Sir Waffles. Boink is the only contact I've ever had from the porn industry in my life. And he came in the room and he's here now. I mean, we were worried about his well-being. He lost his leg in a car accident when he was drinking. I just want to give people a personal story about Boink. That's all. I've never been affiliated with the porn industry. Never want to be either. You seem kind of aroused. I don't seem kind of erotic. Many of you are suffering from lack of sex. You're sex-starved. When you encounter somebody who's obviously sexually capable, you immediately are aroused and think that I'm erotic. It's just an assumption you're making. You're making an ass out of you and me. Okay, so he walks, he talks, he reads off a teleprompter. What else does he do? Yeah, he also says you don't have privacy and you don't have the ability to protect your privacy on your phone like your credit card data. You know, I don't support Israeli lobby, and I will not take money from the AIPAC group. American Israeli Political Action Committee will never give me money. I don't want any. I'll turn it back. Not going to happen. I'm not a Zionist. And I want everyone to know that I'm very concerned about the disproportional number of Jewish people in our banking industry, in our legal profession, and in our medical profession. However, I'm not discriminating against Jewish people. But a long time ago, there was a quota, just like the quota that kept me out of colleges, affirmative action. A long time ago, there was a quota that said how many doctors could be from a Jewish descent. It was 5% in 1977. In 1978, I think they went to court, and the B'nai B'rith organization is sued and had the quota removed. And because of that, now 80 to 90% of the doctors are Jewish. And they're the only ones that can afford medical school. So when I become president, I want to open up an opportunity for everybody to become trained physicians and physician's assistants and EMTs. And we're going to need a lot of people to work our mobile medical units because it's the only way we're going to break the back of big pharma and big healthcare industrial leaders. Now, in no way do I want to impair the private sector. I recognize that people want to spend money and they want good healthcare. But honestly, if you got $30, we'll be able to treat you at the mobile medical unit. Full treatment, even setting a cast. We're going to give you a complete. If you want a tooth pulled or a filling, it'll be $50. It's going to be right down the line. And if you can't afford these prices, you will be given an affidavit to sign saying you're broke, and we'll give you free service, and then later we'll cross-check it against your tax returns. So if you come into any of the mobile medical units, we'll know that you're kind of like pulling a fast one. But that's not going to prevent you from getting health care, because we have a mandate. Unfortunately, it's a reality that we have to live with. The ruling by the Supreme Court in 2000 that suggests that we have to give everybody health care, no matter who you are, still stands. Now, I care. I don't want anyone to go without health care, but I don't want us to pay for all the expensive doctors and nurses and hospitals. So this mobile medical unit idea is a bypass to the existing healthcare financial crisis that we're all facing. And we're all absorbing the cost. Some of us by not even going into the doctor. Avoiding the doctor is the way you're absorbing the cost of the healthcare crisis. Your physical well-being is affected. Yeah, I'm not a homosexual, guys. In case you're fantasizing about me. Yeah, get that straight. Dave, if you really want to make a change, get rid of the Fed. Last president was trying to do that was JFK. Yeah, well, why do you think we've got this plan? Ending the Fed. We want to bring our troops home, too. So these are basic core elements in our third party. It's on our platform. And this weekend, we're going to bring up our old site. It'll be a link on our new site. We're putting that together still. We were hacked really hard at the beginning of the year, and we lost our entire old site. We've had to rebuild it from our backup copies. So we're going to have an old site where you can look at all the different plans that we've had in place for 7-8 years. The 1,000-mile fence, the no refugee plan, the plan to actually create a slew of new government jobs, but at the same time eliminate half the people in our government who are wasting tax dollars, sitting on their fat ass, pushing pencils and being bureaucrats. And those are the people that will be fired under my administration. We're going to give every single federal worker a piece of paper with 2 questions on it. One question will say, what have you done that you're proud of? And the second question will be, what would you like to do to make things better? And from that, we will glean the best of the best and keep the right people and get rid of the waste in our government. Well, Boink, I really want to get people aware of the need for condoms in the porn industry. So you could be our emissary. You could go around as a spokesman. You could, I can't force the porn industry to wear condoms, but we could definitely put you on that track. That would be a paid job. You could speak in front of groups, and people in the industry need to be aware of the dangers. Yeah, I don't have any racial hatred whatsoever. I just don't think it's right that, Jewish people occupy 95% of the jobs in those markets. So instead of being, discriminatory, what I'm going to do is be completely integrative and give more people who have different backgrounds, no matter what their religious background is, chance to become a doctor or a lawyer or work in the banking industry. Like Saul. Go Call Saul. Have you seen that movie, Go Call Saul? I saw it. I hope they come back. Did they have a second season, or was that it? I don't know. Okay. Let's have a moment of silence for Barlow. His real name is Chris Epstein. He died of AIDS, everybody. We lost another human being to this terrible, ravaging disease that's spreading rampantly in the porn industry. People having sex without condoms. It's terrible. All right, let's take a look at the mobile medical unit, what it can provide you. I'm going to say you want some medical marijuana? You'll be able to get it. It'll be affordable too. It won't be jacked up like the price here in Washington. They're paying like $15 a gram for marijuana here. I don't know what Colorado is, but you'll be able to get a gram for probably around $5 of something, decent that'll give you, the kind of medicinal benefits marijuana offers you. And of course, there'll be generic medicine there at the mobile medical unit. You'll be able to get a variety of healthy drug alternatives to the costly big pharma drugs. We will have generic versions of popular blood pressure medications, anti-diabetes medications, etc., etc. I'm not trying to take business away from the private sector. I'm merely trying to build a robust public sector alternative for people that are willing to take generic medicine and medical marijuana. When I've legalized marijuana, the first thing I do as president will be moving forward, and our nation will begin healing economically. It's true. Black Wamba made a good point. David, Jewish people are really good at working together because of what happened in Germany. They call that collusion, okay? Tell that to your rabbi. But I'm not going to impair your ability to be a lawyer, a doctor, or a banker if you're Jewish. I'm just going to give more opportunity to people of all different backgrounds. For instance, the SEC. We're going to be taking and rehiring everybody at the SEC. There's about 12 people, I think, serving. The Security and Exchange Commission is going to be all brand new people. And we're going to be sampling people from the industry. It's not going to be just, it'll be we'll use affirmative action. No, we won't. We'll make sure everybody has access. How many people are on the commission? Commission members. The SEC has about 4,000 employees. So 4,000 people of all races will get a job at the SEC. I'm going to say up to 4,000 people. All right? That's one way we're going to level the playing field of the banking sector. Thank you. Now, why are we doing this? Because we have to do this. Mango juice is genetically modified, Diaper Man. I just want you to be aware that there's a lot of mangoes that are genetically modified. I don't totally trust the mango population, but if you're a coconut, we definitely would like to have the lime in the coconut and rub it all over. But the mango may be genetically modified. Yes. Are you ready? Because we can't stop doing this show. And we can't stop playing the Can't Stop music that Scissor Fight created. I know. I can't wait. The lady with the what appear to be orangutan fur will be in the show later. So, in the meantime, I'm going to do a little jig, a little dance routine. Yeah, it's what I do on a nightly basis. I need to get exercise because if I sit here too long, you get a disease called lard ass. I don't know if you guys have ever had it. It's lard ass, where it starts to get too big, and yeah. Hands up above, head. Okay. Well, we're going to give an alternative to healthcare. You know, where it's low cost. Even bag people can go to the mobile medical units. Maybe you're an executive at a major Wall Street firm that you just need immediate care, and you don't want to go to a long line at a hospital. You might want to go to the mobile medical unit. It'll be completely sterilized. And you'll be standing next to some homeless person. Go, man, are you the CEO of Goldman Sachs or something, man? Who are you, man? I'm the CEO of Goldman Sachs. Could be that. Can't stop because we won't stop. Well, let's be clear.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
So let's be clear. In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim, America's Third Party.
Sponheim for president.
We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, 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 and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
First we hit 'em low, then we hit 'em high. Underrated, but we made it to the finish line. Rhymes designed to combine and intertwine. Spring to the summer, fall, even winter time. Beats banging harder, then head-on collisions. We make incisions with precision and quick decisions. Causing double visions if you ain't up to speed. You need to speed it up, partner, Keanu Reeves.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop.
In this coming election, please vote for David Sponheim, America's Third Party.
We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
All right, say goodbye to the alien baby. Thank you. The caster is not retarded. The caster is actually a genius. You, however, are relatively stupid if you don't realize how censored the world has become and how completely corrupt our two-party system has become. And yeah, we do fun things in order to actually get our body off our chair and get exercise. You want to get heart disease at a young age? I mean, you got to get some exercise, guys. You just can't watch chat all the time. Thank you. Master of the orangutan dance. Wow, that really hurts. It was great. Well, you see retarded monkey. I see a band coming any minute now. Thank you. Thanks, DT Laura. Well, you know, we've got a lot to talk about. Like this large, weird sphere floating over our country. This massive pollution that the government has authorized. Yeah. I guess you might want to call it the crud, the creeping crud of chemicals. I mean, whatever they're doing, it's affecting our climate, and we are definitely facing some sort of a climate, I guess it's a crossroads. Do we tell them to stop dumping aerosol sulfates into the air? Do we order them to stop? Do we arrest them? David, would you support an armed rally? No. Black Wamba, I am definitely against armed anything. Armed insurrection, I'm against. We're trying to build a third party here, so we're not in favor of violence of any sort. This is a strong effort to do what has been designed by our forefathers as the only thing we can do to challenge a very corrupt oligarchy that's taken over our country. RoboCop. The whole country will soon be dealing with this reality. It's not something I'm making up either. These RoboCops are online to be ready to go and be in various areas in our country soon. So we have like 1 or 2 elections to deal with this crisis. And if we don't address it, we're going to be in trouble. You know, we could even have a robotic president. Welcome to the show. I am here to talk to the chatters. Feel free to question me on any subject whatsoever. I am versed in multiple languages and will gladly respond in real time. My data transfer rate is 6 million bits per nanosecond. You know, the possibilities are enormous. We could actually be facing a robotic world very soon. Robo Dave. Welcome, I am Robo Dave. So no, the answer is no, Black Wamba. Yeah, we're talking about preparing politically this takeover of our freedom, our rights. That's what I'm talking about, man. They're trying to take us all over. Yes, well, people will be wrongfully arrested by RoboCops. There's nothing safe about the RoboCop future. I'm not a robot, but I can pretend to be one. Psychedelics are illegal, not because they're dangerous to you, but because they're dangerous to the system of control that is enslaving you. That's Sergei Baranov, who said that while on mushrooms. Dude, that's like totally profound, man. Can you believe how totally profound that is, dude? You know, I've talked about legalizing all drugs, but let's start with marijuana. And if we get 2/3 of the country to go for legalization of all drugs, let's do it. All right? But downsizing the police state is definitely high on our priority. Scantron says, David, how do you feel about the military developing Air Force vehicles like the TR-3B? I will gladly tell you what I believe about the TR-3B. It is a viable, defensive, strategic, and capable vehicle that can travel at 70,000 miles or 70,000 feet above the earth, and it can do a variety of things, deploy troops up to 200 paratroopers. It's stealth technology. We don't really know what the government has shared other than a few stories that we've picked up. There was a Tacoma Tribune story in 2010 that was purged after 2 weeks, in which the FBI discussed the TR-3B. But it's technology that very likely is developed at Area 51 or areas like that. What is it and what does it look like? Well, thanks to me, I have a picture of one right now for you to look at. The TR-3B. I'll play it in the background for you. So this is a pretty real series of pictures that came to us from a person from Japan. She gave me this loop, and I never ever heard from her again. I feel it's pretty intense what we're looking at. This is top secret stuff, but it's fully available to look at in all these glimpses that have been taken over the past few years. It's a flying wedge. It has video cloaking capabilities. It can actually video cloak, and it can deliver a payload like it's doing there with rapid machine gun fire. I think what we're looking at is the next gen of U.S. military defense capability. It looks kind of like a floating kite, yeah. Now, a study has revealed vast amounts of mercury in the U.S. land, high concentrations falling from the sky during rainfall. So they're literally dousing us with mercury, folks. So not only am I talking about a stealth vehicle that the government may have developed, I'm now talking about a massive dump of mercury on our heads. So need I mention the need for a third party has never been more important than now. I'm just saying. I mean, we really need to get accountability here. And they won't even talk about these things. The media won't cover them. The media blocked me from any coverage, any mainstream media coverage. I've got nothing. They literally don't want anyone to hear about what we're doing here. So your word of mouth about the dangers of weather modification, what the government's doing without any oversight, telling people about a third party is the best thing we've got going right now. Really. It's the only way we can bypass the powerful moneyed interests and the power they have over our media. So let's take a look at this story. Yeah, it's very disturbing. Natural News has a report here that after steadily dropping for many years, mercury levels in some parts of the United States are starting to rise again. Long-term national trend is still downward, but levels of mercury in rainwater increased in the Rocky Mountains in the Midwest. It's a surprising result, said somebody who's a co-author of something. Mercury is a chemical element that functions as a potent neurotoxin. The majority of mercury in the environment is released by human industrial activities, primarily through burning of coal. So yeah, coal, they do burn a lot, and then they dump fumes all over the place. Hey, Amanda V. How will a third party distribute umbrellas? Go to the dollar store. They're like $1 a piece. So if you want to believe these are all fake, whoa, that's pretty cool. You could even believe this is an alien. Ooh, I didn't know it could do that. Whoa. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, August 2009. Ooh, we need some mystery music to play in the background. Mystery, oh yes. That's it. Okay, well, we'll pass on the mystery music. That's all she wrote. All right, let's see what else is going on. We've got a bunch of links to look at tonight. And the write-in candidacy is continuing on every day. Write my name in. Tell people to write my name in. I'm not giving up, so you don't give up. We will break through the control once we get enough people to promote us. Eventually, the censored media will have to deal with this, what we got here. It's a long process in the making. I know, they're getting ready to produce these RoboCops. That's correct. Nerds unite. Guest 744 says, we were planted here by aliens 55 billion years ago. And you know this how? Scantron, what is your water purifier? We'd all like to know. You use a ppm tester to your parts per million to get your water? I'm using zero water when I can. That's a pretty good filter. Oh, is Earth prison planet and moon station? Okay, so this is a theory that you have that we're being harvested for our body parts by alien beings? Is Earth a prison planet and a moon the station for guardians? You know, I don't buy into a lot of these fear-mongering weird theories that aliens are going to harvest humans and we're invited to dinner, but we are the food. That's, you know, Isaac Asimov suggested a long time ago that the moon is not a natural astral body. Well, it's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the gravitational features of the moon are not just abnormal. They are the exact numbers required so that the moon does not escape from the Earth's gravity and be pulled toward the sun, as it should be. Okay? It just so happens that it happens to have the exact amount of gravitational and density configuration in order to avoid that. You have the same zero water, 23 cupper, with a free TDS meter. See, Scantron got the 23 cup zero water. That's a pretty cool product. And you know what I liked about them is if you have an extremely bad water and your filter clogs up really fast like mine did, they sent me a free one in the mail. I thought that was really big of them. It was like a $15 filter. And then I realized I had to go through a reverse osmosis with my water because there's so many total dissolved solids in my water. We've got some of the most contaminated water. Not in terms of toxins, but just number of calcium products that go in the water. Conan O'Brien is willing to give me part of his nerd flock, really? Conan. He is a funny guy. Yeah, I think he's a pretty funny guy. I like him. I like Conan. He's the kind of guy you can't dislike. Yeah, so you think it's a hollow space station and there's evidence, Johnny? It's a pretty interesting theory. That would explain why the government never really released any photographs in color of the moon landing. It's not a comedy show. Many of you find humor in what I do because I deliver things in a humorous tone. But I've had to do that to spruce up politics for you guys. Normally I'm very boring. Normally I talk like this. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm going to read the minutes from last night's meeting. The mayor was here and we discussed the planter over on 5th Street. Sir, you're out of line. You'll have to wait 3 more hours before we take questions from the audience. That's how most planning meetings go on in America. I'm not a comedian, no. I'm actually a humorist with an incredible ability to bring the world of politics to life. My viewers are more than just logged in. They've tuned out and they've dropped out. Many of our viewers are really trying to find something that they can hold on to tangible, that they can believe in, and we offer America's Third Party. So we're not naysayers, we're not doomsday predictors. I'm not here to create fear. I'm here to scare the living daylights out of you. I'm just kidding. I'm here to freak you out to the point where you realize we need a third party. But I'm not providing no answers, I'm giving you answers too. So this is not Fearmonger TV on YouTube. In fact, we can't even get hits on YouTube because they've got a hit counter lock on us. That isn't really Conan offering me anything. If Conan wanted to call me, he'd call me right now on the phone, 707 your ATP. And what did he do with that $70 million he got from the buyout offer that they gave him? I'm curious. $70 million. I mean, he's not that funny. Well, Michelle we got a new picture of Michelle. A new picture surfaced with Michelle's, appendage. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Not the appendage. I know, the cowbell, right. I'm waiting for the cowbell link, Mad Dog. You're supposed to deliver that when you say more cowbell. I can't be on cue with a cowbell. I mean, I've got too many things going on here. Well, let's be clear. I mean, I don't have a group of technicians working behind the scenes. This is my show. I basically pull it all off. Pull it all off. Here's an interesting picture of Barack Obama's mother. Blurred out, I might add, so that you can't tell that she's wearing some very nice panties. Or is she? Yeah, that's Stanley Ann Dunham. His mother was a erotic nude, whatever you call it. Oh yeah, you didn't know? Oh yeah. You've been in the dark. A lot of you Democrats don't realize some things about Obama. You don't know that he has scars on his head. that he probably had brain surgery. You probably never got that memo either. Yeah, you've kind of been left in the dark. Poor Democrats. Well, welcome to our show. Yep, the possibility of a guy being chipped like that is entirely real. I am naked under my clothes. That's true. Okay, so yeah, we have that picture of Michelle on cue for you. My dance was completely original. I've been told that I have a unique dance pattern. Unlike the current robotic president you have, I'm not a robot. Well, let's be clear. I'm actually a human being. We got a phone call. How about that? Oh, I guess it was a scam to get me to get out of my chair. I'm not a slave driver. I'm a leader. Unlike Obama, who's a liar, I'm a leader. It's Conan. Conan, is that you? Hi, Conan. Hi. I've been wondering, what did you do with that $70 million you got in the settlement from NBC? Well, let's be clear. We have a new picture of Michelle's, well, large tampon pad. We were wondering if you could qualify what this is. Conan? Hello? It's the last time I'm going to take a call from Conan. Jeez. What, was he drinking or something? It was fake. Oh, wait a second. Somebody says photoshopped. LOL, Photoshop. Well, lucky for you, I have the Photoshop decipher tool right here. I'll enlarge the large object to determine if there's any anti-aliasing in the picture. As you can see, there is no anti-aliasing in the picture. Now, if I bring up Barack Obama's birth certificate, you will see a significant amount of anti-aliasing in the birth certificate document. Let's see if we can bring that up for you. A long-form birth certificate was developed by the art department at the CIA, and they made a couple copies. It didn't work out too well, so we definitely see halftone images on that. Let's see if we can pull that up. See, it's missing the Barack Obama birth certificate. It keeps disappearing. I don't know. Can we get a copy of the Barack Obama birth certificate here? Thank you. Here it is. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Yeah, that's different. That was one of the other copies. But on the birth certificate, there was anti-aliasing, and there was halftones mixed with binaries. There are no halftones mixed with binaries here. There is a tranny, though, in the picture. That's totally real. David doesn't know what an anti-aliasing means. Oh, I do. I do. In fact, I'm an expert on graphics. I was a graphic artist for years. I didn't make money doing it, but I played with my programs. Corel Draw, Photoshop, these things. All right. All right, so that was obviously a tampon. There are no more accurate photographs of... But you know what's really strange about Barack Obama and Michelle? Is they have two children that don't have birth certificates. That's the weird part about it. They don't have birth certificates. The kids don't have birth certificates. And there's no picture of a pregnant Michelle. Now, I challenge any one of you Democrats to go looking for a pregnant picture of Michelle. So many of you are in denial right now, wondering, what do you mean? How can you even say these things? Well, I'm not the only one who said it. Other people have said it, and I have to bring up this video because it got so little airtime in American television. They never showed, it turns out they never showed this picture of Joan Rivers talking about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama before she died. So it's my obligation to present to you, after much ado, the authentic video of the last words of the late great Joan Rivers. prior to her being killed. We think possibly because she said those fateful words that she said. Here it is. I checked on the kids' shirts. There is no...
Miss Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. She does it.
Now, Gawker called me up on the phone. Gawker.com, you know Gawker. They called me up and asked me if I was claiming that Michelle was a transgender. I said no. No, I'm saying that Joan Rivers broke the story that Michelle is a transgender. And yeah, I think Slow Rollins right. I think they killed Joan. The endoscopy clinic didn't even have a clearance to do the biopsy on her vocal cords. She choked. And it's ironic she said there she doesn't choke, because she does choke. She did choke. And now Melissa Rivers is suing, and they found out they didn't even do an autopsy on her mother. No autopsy on Joan Rivers. No autopsy. And no autopsy on Justice Scalia either. Well, I said that Joan Rivers said that she had a penis. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to draw the connection so you realize that we even predicted Joan Rivers would be dead in a month and a half on our show. Sarah and I looked at each other and she said, oh, that's pretty wild that she said that. It's definitely she'll be dead in a month and a half. And to the day she died, a month and a half later. To the day. Well, that's just great. No topsy. Let's be clear. So we established the background of Barack Obama, his family, and we gave you some information about his head tonight. Many of you didn't realize he had scars on his head indicating neurosurgery, possibly a brain chip in his upper cerebrum. Yeah, we didn't want to... I don't know specifically anything other than that. You guys who are living in the dark, Democrats, welcome to Wake Up Reality Time. We would love to have you join us and realize that the two parties are screwing you over, that Hillary's a corporate elitist, much like Donald, and that they are literally controlling our country and our destiny. And we, the nation, the American people, have nothing. We have no way to change the course we're on. So I came up with this third party idea in 2008 to challenge the two parties, and everyone told me I'm crazy or something. And all I was trying to do is what our forefathers set in motion. They gave us the ability to get on the ballot. They gave us the instrument to do it, our Constitution, our election laws. And it's been an incredible battle to get on the ballot. So we're asking you to write my name in and force a recount. As a third-party candidate, I can literally change the paradigm of the two-party system if we have enough people writing my name in. Now, I believe that the only way we're going to get them to say anything and be accountable is to actually get them where it hurts, their jobs, their re-electability, their brain-dead policies. The Democrats, Republicans haven't come up with solutions to our jobs. They haven't come up with a way to fix the environment. This cap and trade is a joke. It's never worked. It's no real goal in mind other than a small reduction in air pollution. It's not going to fix the problem. We need to innovate. And we need to get the government to run efficiently. The Democrats have proven to be bureaucracy builders, tax and spenders. And the Republicans, they side with big business, and all big business cares about is profit. So we're stuck with nothing. The American people have nothing. Floating mystery island appears in a California lake. This is getting good. I'm going to go with hypertransport. Hyperthreat is a little too experimental. Mystery Island floating on Pinto Lake. Let's take a look.
Aaron, people who live next to Pinto Lake say after this weekend's storm, they saw plenty of water and wind in their backyard, but there was something else that caught their eye too.
I got up this morning and an island had appeared. Went to get my camera, came back a couple hours later and it was gone.
And this is what Thomas Prey is talking about. A half-acre floating chunk of land moving around Pinto Lake. A viewer captured this video from a helicopter Wednesday afternoon, right about the time Mike Johnston and Heidi Perlmutter spotted the island floating by their home.
And I was just amazed because I'd never seen that before, and we lived here for 18 years.
Jackie McLeod is an environmental projects manager for Watsonville. She says the chunk of wetland has well-established willows and tules on it. She says it likely broke off during last weekend's storm.
We may have a higher flow coming in from the watershed, and the velocity of the water and the strength of the winds really pulled the roots up, and maybe the root system got moved that way.
At first, the island moved right in front of the boat launch, but later shifted again to where it is now. McLeod says, amazingly, this floating island may be able to help Pinto Lake's toxic algae problem.
Floating wetland technology actually is kind of Mother Nature's way of cleaning the water column. So if it did root down there, the roots would extend down into the sediments and actually start taking up some of the nutrients that are fueling those blooms.
Now,
it's a miracle. The floating island is cleaning all the toxins from the lake. I seriously believe that it is divinely inspired. Nature has a way of curing its own problems. You know, if they shut off the chemtrails for just a couple days, you'd start to see clear skies again. You know what's interesting? Where I am, we're at a certain aperture, the Earth and the Sun in the northwest here, that when the chemtrails get hit a certain way, they immediately activate. It's almost like they turn on like a light switch, and they absorb water. I don't know how this works. I don't know the chemistry behind it, because obviously it's secret. The whole program is secret. But it's like at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning, to 12 o'clock, it starts raining every day now. Here where we are. Now, Washington's always had a lot of rain, but we've had more rain over the past 3 years than the entire history of the state of Washington. You were thinking I was wearing a monocle, really? You got chemi rain today. Scissor fight. Yeah, there has been some rain in California. Finally. Dave, you talk like the evangelist on The Simpsons. Well, thank you. It is my honor to sound like a character in The Simpsons. That's right. I actually met the lady who's the voice of Bart Simpson when I was a young college student. Yes. Yeah, she was, Nancy Cartwright was a student at Sproul Hall at UCLA in 1970-78. I was going to school at the time. I was 17 years old, and someone said, hey, this girl does voices, just like you do. So I met her. I walked into Nancy Cartwright's dorm room at Sproul Hall, and she was sitting on the floor with her dolls. And I find out later that she was 20 years old at the time, but she looked like she was 12. I'm not kidding. She was 3 years older than me, and she was sitting with her dolls, and she looked up to me, I'll never forget, and it was Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart, and she said, would you like to play with my dollies? And I said, no, I'm not into dolls, I kind of grew out of that. Well, I all have really funny voices. And then she starts doing all these really weird voices. It's like, oh, this one's talking like this. And she starts playing with the dolls. And I'm going, okay. Reality check. I went to UCLA hoping to meet adults here. I've got what looked like a 12-year-old girl sitting on the floor of the Sproul Hall dorm playing with her dolls. I said, well, it was very nice to meet you. You went to high school with Nancy Cartwright? Well, good for you. I was very nice to meet you, Nancy. Yeah. And that was all I could ever remember of Nancy Cartwright. She went on to become the voice of Bart, made over $66 million, and has been enjoying the luxury of being the voice of Bart all these years. I don't really comment about her religion or whatever she's into, but I can tell you that there's one lesson to be learned here. She followed her dream. It's that simple. That's the secret, by the way. You follow your dream and you totally sink into it. And people said, wow, you're doing great voices, Nancy. Could you do Bart? She got a job. Isn't that amazing? Can you do Special Agent Roger Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon? I could, but I've never heard his voice. I can duplicate a voice within 13 seconds. I have the voice of 1,000 voices inside of me. But it doesn't matter. I don't want to exploit that for this show. Isn't it amazing? It slices, it dices, it makes mounds and mounds of coleslaw. But seriously, there's a lot of things that you just don't realize until later in life. I realize now that I should have probably asked her out. I'm just kidding. It was just too weird. I mean, it was the weirdest experience I ever had at college. Was talking to this 12-year-old, and she was 20. Holy crap, what do we got here? I could fake a multiple personality disorder? No, it's impossible. That's a serious disorder. When a person has multiple personalities, they can't control it.
Madonna Santissima!
Oh my God, look at this. It's a mudslide. Look at this. Wow, look at this mudslide. Isn't it amazing? It's in TV land heaven, yeah. I feel the earth move under my feet.
Incredibile, di drammatico. Madonna! È pazzesco!
Hey, Francisco, I got to get out of here, man. Oh, man, it's coming my way. Yeah, I'll do the voiceover on this.
Incredibile!
Ay, Cavat, look at the land moving. Oh, no. He's going to take over our own... This is weird, man. This is what happens when the earth turns to mush. Again, a classic example of chemtrails gone awry. You heard of Girls Gone Wild? Chemtrails gone wild. Yeah. This is what happens when you screw the earth over, Larry. Yeah. You see mudslides. There's too much water in the ground. 12 babies died in that landslide? Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's go live to the landslide.
Fuori di qui! Ma siete dei pazzi ancora a rimanere!
Is it in Italy, or where is this? Because this is a Chinese Facebook account. Where is this? Do you know? Talk about watching your property go down the hill, you know, financially. Italy. You see it? It looks like Italy to me. I detect the voice of the Italian. Un momento. I feel the earth move under my feet. I can't play that song. Hey, caramba. Okay, we want to talk about eye scanning right now. That was a terrible Italian land mass movement. It's 100% Russia? Okay. Eye tracking is a sensor technology that enables a device... Well, let me just help you. Surely I can go into a party mode with my robot face. I can express myself more naturally. Thank you. Eye tracking is a sensor technology. Eye tracking is a sensor technology that enables a device to know exactly where your eyes are focused. It determines your presence, attention, focus, drowsiness, and consciousness, and other mental states. This information can be used to gain deep insights into consumer behavior or to design revolutionary new user interfaces across various devices. Are you getting creeped out or what? Chip malfunction? I'm creeped out just thinking about this. Look at this. Just look at this. Talk about an invasion of our privacy. The Indians, the Native Americans, said that the eyes are the gateway to the soul, and they didn't want anyone taking pictures of them. So let me show you a few pictures of some Indians. But no, seriously, they literally want to take total liberties with our bodies. They want to look at your retina. They want to stick tubes in your body. They want to RFID chip you. Do you see the need for a third party yet? If you haven't seen the need by now, I'm not doing my job. All right. Okay, here's the impressive landslide caught on video from Italy. Scissor fight. The valid link is there. Well, you're going to care about liberty when they stick a tube up your ass and say, "Whistle Dixie!" Italy.
Via, per favore, via! Filippo! Fuori!
I've often wondered why do they have alarms going off in times like this? And it kind of takes away from the natural audio tones of the land movements, don't you think? Could you possibly lower the alarm activity during this crisis? Thank you. Scientists grow a dinosaur leg on a chicken in bizarre reverse evolution experiment. Why does this not surprise me? I mean, they've got Frankenstein plans with chips and prisoners and military men who've suffered from brain injuries. Now they want to grow a dinosaur leg on a chicken in a bizarre reverse evolutionary experiment. Yeah. Leave it to science to be reckless and indiscriminate of what they do. This reminds me a little bit about a story about a bunch of scientists in England about 5 years ago came up with a way to weaponize neurotoxins and viruses. They actually were so proud of the way that they created this atomizer that they went public in one of the major British journals in science. And the MI6 stepped on it immediately, shut them down, put them under house arrest, and said, "What are you doing?" And their scientists were like, "We were only trying to show people how to weaponize a virus." Can you imagine? Educated fools. This whole deal about the rally in Chicago tonight, the protesters getting violent, is very alarming. Oli, it's predictable. Don't be alarmed. They're just trying to create a fear-monger scenario where everyone's afraid that riots are happening around the world. Growing a dinosaur leg on a chicken in a bizarre reverse evolution experiment. I mean, we've got to put a stop to this nonsense in America. Obviously, we can't control what England is doing, but I don't have IAMs up. I'm sorry, Black Wamba. Let's see what I have here. Let me read what Black Wamba says. Black Wamba. Yeah, I wish. It's one of the downfalls of this network. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, true. Good point, Black Wamba. Yeah. The Rothschilds actually are invested heavily in weather monitoring, which leads you to believe that they're involved in weather modification too. We actually have a photo of one of the Rothschilds discussing his new weather channel. Now, you're going to have to ask yourself, why would the Rothschilds want a weather channel called myweather.com when they have weather.com right now? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Well, they're so heavily invested in this weather modification that they actually have a goal in mind to track and know exactly how they're playing God with the weather. So if you're wondering why we're having problems in the weather and the atmosphere, well, they're tracking it. If that gives you any feeling of relief. myweather.com. Listen to him talk about it.
The RMB situation, you mentioned a so-called currency problem. I mean, do you see the day in the next 5 years where it's fully convertible and flexible?
Well, you're talking to a person who's quite old. If I'm around in 5 years, I'd like to think that that is the case. I think we've all got to move towards that opportunity. And my weather, on the whole, it's a question of giving the opportunity. I mean, we have also launched an operation called My Weather, which gains access to the first truly personalized weather application for the web and mobile devices. You can go up on myweather.com and you can find out within a kilometer of where you are what is going to happen to the weather. It also gives a 10-day forecast. I think we've got to be aware that we're living in a time, I'm not going to get into the subject, which is a huge subject of climate change, but we do have variations of all.
Oh no, I don't want to get into the subject of climate change, in that we are simply creating climate change and monitoring it at myweather.com. Oh yes, I should put my glasses on. It's so fun. I'll pretend to be the Rothschild. Yes, Sarah, how are you? It's so lovely to have you here today. Charles, could you get Sarah something to drink? Possibly some, would you like some caviar?
No, thank you.
Okay. I hope the chemtrails weren't too terrible. Did you have the air filtration system?
Quite academic with those glasses.
Well, thank you so much. Did you have the air filtration system on that we gave you in your limousine ride, so that we wouldn't have to breathe these plebeian fumes that so many of the useless eaters are breathing every day? Would you like to come down to my underground facility, Sarah, and perhaps we could live in some of the oxygenated environments that we've created so that we can survive the coming apocalypse that we're engineering?
Don't start a fire near all that oxygen.
Hardy har har, yeah. I'm just guessing. I don't know any Rothschilds. I'm just going, what if? We're going to step out of here. I'll be right back. Sarah's going to give you some time, some meaningful one-on-one time. And I've got to get this.
On however many of you there are.
Yes. You'd like a backdrop of the aliens, of the U.S.-made spacecraft, the TR-3B? It's pretty cool. Yeah, so they're planning depopulation.
You just want David only. You want me to get out?
No, she's going to give me a break, but they're going to look at the TR-3B again. Thank you.
Okay. The TR-3B. Okay, what is this? The TR-3B. Hello, Laura. How are you? Did you have a good week? Hi, Mad Dog. You want me to stand up and model for you? Okay. I have long hair. She's wearing this jacket with the Mongolian fur. And underneath she has on the sweater. Here you go. Is that good enough? No, Mad Dog. You already have that one saved somewhere. I know, you're like hovering over print screen. Is there something Sarah will show me that I can print screen? Thank you, 744. Ding, I know. Sarah, why are you gonna do that to me? No belly button ring, man. Oh man, I should have slept, but I didn't. There we go. That's better. Lovely apparel. Thank you, Sir Calculate. Or Circulate, sorry. I misread your thing. Well, this is your time, Jacket Pockets. What is this? Oh, this is it? That must be up higher. Just trying to get rid of all these things. Okay. My first walk on the red carpet, that would be good. Run for myself. Well, I'm supporting David. His efforts. Oh, there we go, maybe. Here we go. I'd rather have a black image behind me. Just a black screen. Yes, I'd be ready to be vice president. For lunch today, I had like a goulash dish, I guess. And some small clementine oranges and a yogurt. For dinner, I had some hot chocolate and another piece of chocolate. Yes, I'm mad. No, I think that's awesome that you're having handmade pizza. I did not have any baby potatoes. Not tonight. I know, exactly. Didn't you like that? That's what I had for dinner. Yeah, there, wrong type of there, A-stays. Their is like an heir, like belonging to them. Oh, yes, I have heard that. Thank you, Mad Dog. My dad told me about Professor Messer. I had some spinach yesterday. Yeah, an A+ would be a good starting point. Don't you have to take a test to get an A+? Like, I guess you have to take the training first, but then you have to take the test to be CompTIA certified. I guess, yeah. Test is rather easy. Alright. You have to go to a location to take the tests? Like through Pearson or something like that? Okay. The link has everything I need to know. Alright, fantastic. I can find it online. Alright, let me save that. I'm doing this other thing where I have to take a test, so I'm not sure. I still am thinking about getting into IT, but then, like my other profession, I have other things I'm doing. Sure. What is 1/4? How many 12ths equal 1/4? 23? No. Your pop quiz. Equivalent fractions, people. How many 12ths equal 1? I know. 3! Yes, you're correct. 3 12ths equal 1/4. Thank you. Well, I don't put up with them 24/7. I go off to work 7/4/4. Hello, Meme Lake. Oh, good. I tend to agree with you, 7/4/4. But, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help David be the best he can be. Yes, thank you, UK. How many tenths are equal to 3/5? Oh, why Jacket Pockets? I like to just like leave and go watch. I know. How many times does 3 go into 12? 4 times. Yes. 6/10 equals 3/5. Good job. Nice job. Oh, he's proud of me. He likes to show me off. There you go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. No, you can't have chicken dinner, or you can if you make it yourself. Carpenters are good mathematicians, yeah. I keep clicking on your things. Now it's going to open up 3 of those pictures. Ah, what did I do? Scissor fight? Yeah, it's cool. Cool old quote. Would you like smattering of chemtrails with your weather modification? Would you like a smattering of chemtrails with your weather modification? That's cute. That's very cute. Thanks, Scissor Fight. Yeah, because you have to be good at math to do all kinds of measurements. One of those things. Yes, cacao chocolate is the best. I agree. What's the distance to Uranus? I would have to look that up. From Earth, I'm gonna guess. I was gonna guess 5,762 miles. But I could be completely wrong on that. I used to drink tea. I still do drink mint tea. How many 1/16 are in 1 inch? 16/16 of an inch are in 1 inch. Aha! How many fourths are in 1 hole? All 4 fourths. Exactly, because exactly. What is bigger? 2/3 or 5/6? I had to go bigger on you. Comparing fractions with unlike denominators. Sweet tea. Oh, good. Should know better. Yep. Good job, Jacket Pockets. How many 1/8 of an inch? You have to put inches, circulate. 1/8 inches are in 5 inches because 1/8, you could be talking about 1/8 feet are in 5 inches. All right, anyway, I know what you're saying. But yes, 40 is correct. 844. You're whizzing through the math. Good night. Good job.
Good job.
How many 1/16 is 0.625? Isn't that, well, let me think. Is that equivalent? 1/10 is 0.1. So 1/16 is smaller than that. So maybe they're equivalent. Am I right, Scissor Fight? There's not a carpenter. Well, actually, I have done some home modification repairs.
Yeah.
I have some done.
So I'm just getting by you.
Carpentry.
You did tiling. We did. That's funny. Would you like smothered chemtrails with your weather modification? That's funny. Thanks. I'll copy that.
I can fix the school.
Going in the archives.
I can do plumbing. You've seen me do plumbing. Is that a power tie, David?
Yeah, it's a power tie. Yeah, you know what's really nice is I'm kind of slipping into that comfortable feeling with the camera. After 7,000 hours, I'm finally getting to know you as a friend.
The camera.
The camera.
You, my camera, are my friends.
You're my only friend, camera. I appreciate that.
You
Except
think
Sarah.
I above the computer.
Sarah is my only friend, but
It's
my
because
camera
I get
is
to
my
look
second.
at myself. So I think that I like me.
Yeah.
So I like you. I like me.
I like me, like you.
I like the eye on the camera.
I've been upset during the
it's
show
good for you.
periodically. I can go up. I can get upset and then get back to this
I know,
normal
and they're just,
level.
it's just like reading a book.
Yeah.
I mean, would you get all mad at a book? This darn character in the book.
No.
You know? I mean, I know there's real people behind that, but...
But my anger is real. As long as you realize it's for the greater good of our country that I'm angry. I don't walk around with, big personal gripes to make about everybody. Well,
It's a
occasionally
little
I do.
different than, like, FaceTime, where you see the other person's face. I only see my face. Ah, scary.
Yeah. But we're going to kind of Netflix and chill tonight. We're going to hang out. And
2/16.
Sarah and I are going to watch
No.
House of Cards.
Wait.
Kevin Spacey.
I lied. That is closer. That's more than 3/10.
Yeah, so I don't know what you guys are going to do in the evening. We're really into Netflix now, and we have Amazon Prime too. So we go back and forth on it, but basically Netflix delivers what I want. No commercials. I love that.
I was figuring it out. Scissor Fight. It's like it has to be more than 4/16 because 4/16 is 1/4, which is 0.25. So anyway, thanks for letting me know. 5/16.
People do go to bed with each other with petty anger. I know that's common, but it's not something I do when I go to bed.
Well, we're not have petty issues with each other, just at the world in general.
Yeah, anger in general maybe, but not at each other. There's nothing worse than sleeping next to somebody you hate. I've actually had an experience in the past where I've been in an involved relationship and just was a horrible relationship that I remember one time I wanted to flee the Los Angeles area because I'd met this woman down there that was so horrible. And I knew I had to spend the night next to her on a bed because I had a flight the next morning, and we weren't involved or anything. There was no sex involved. It was just this weird feeling, being forced to sleep next to somebody you really don't like. Because I couldn't get a motel at the night, it was like, sure.
You can use, like, if you have a Roku box, Circulate.
Yeah, Roku.
You can do the Amazon thing.
Yeah, Roku, there's a couple of them now. Even the Echo has a system that you can talk to. The problem is the Echo can listen to you, too, and it's like eavesdropping on you. Your privacy is jeopardized when you buy the Echo. Amazon has this amazing tool which has eight or nine microphones in it and listens to you, and you can talk to it, and you can say, play Pandora, play Avril Lavigne, and it'll play, which set would you like to play, David? Well, play Avril Lavigne's first box set. Okay, I will play the bleep bleep, and it'll continue to tell you what it is. Roku is something you're going to have to get to do that. To do the Netflix, or you guys go on the internet. You can watch it right on the browser. Robo sex voice, haha.
That is very cool.
I'd like to play with
Very
Pandora's
cool,
box.
Thing, Scissor Fight.
Antenna measurements and conversions, yeah. Whenever I want to do an antenna measurement and conversion, I'll go to that chart, guaranteed.
Well, you don't even need it for antenna measurements. Just to convert a fraction, an inch to a decimal.
Avril Lavigne, you don't like Avril Lavigne? What the hell's
David
wrong with
likes
you, man?
Avril Lavigne.
How can anyone not like all the musicians that we have today? The female vocalists are outstanding. I mean, even Adele is trying to be good right now. You got to admit she's trying really hard. It's the real Dave, yeah. It's me. Completely audio animatrized and capable of replicating the human form. Equipped with facial expressions. I personally think you guys need to lighten up. You're acting like a bunch of old fogies. If you don't like Avril Lavigne, you must be at least 80 years old. I mean, come on.
I think you can use the Amazon website to watch Prime movies. I've never done that. Yes, they will all want a hologram of Sarah.
That's right.
Sleeping on a bed.
You have such a seductive look when you're so tired with your hair. You've got the Janis Joplin seductive look going on, but much prettier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we can spend some extra time with you. You know, we can Netflix and chill later. So overall, the Chicago thing, I think, is a day-long event. It's just designed to freak America out, make us want to realize how dangerous Donald Trump is, and you know, many of you can assume that it's related to Donald Trump. Yeah, it was probably inspired by George Soros, though, but I'm going to assume it's about Donald Trump because the anger was real. Meme Lake.
Water is a huge issue facing America, both in like New Jersey, just warned not to drink.
Oh yeah, water in New Jersey is dangerous. It got lead in it.
And in Flint, Michigan.
And in Flint, Michigan now. So our infrastructure is caving in. Our president hasn't done anything. You Democrats, I can see, are finally coming to the reality that he promised a lot of things but didn't deliver, and he certainly didn't have any real ideas. And that's a big realization.
We'll like that scissor fight. The fuel rods melted through the containment, and nobody knows where they are now.
Yeah, I heard about this.
They're melted.
It's corium. It's in the ground. I've been telling people the fuel rods are in the ground now. So.
Oh, Sarah wants to get Z's.
Yeah, well, Scantron's, he got the zero water filter, 23 cup measurement.
Uh-huh.
And he loves it.
Oh, cool.
He's really happy with it.
Very good.
So get that Netflix and chilling thing going, and I'll come in and join you. But watch one of your shows first, and I'll talk to people for a while.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. We're going to be watching A House of Cards tonight with Kevin Spacey. Spacey Kevin. Yeah, great film. Love it. You know, I like the quality, the production quality. It's really good. Yeah, zero water is the best. Somebody had a big argument with me about how they say zero water doesn't get rid of fluoride. And they claim that was a disclaimer on their product line. And then they told me Berkey does. And, you know, one's an activated charcoal filter, the zero water, with multiple stages, like the Brita filter, but better. And Berkey is a reverse solid carbon filter, where it goes down. And the person was telling me that fluoride comes as a gas in the water. And that would make sense if the water dropping down in the Berkey, even though it's filtering through solid carbon, if it's a gas, it would prevent, the gas would go up. So maybe it is better for fluoride. I don't know. So I'm not like Alex Jones. I don't profit from this stuff. Yeah, this will hurt Trump big time. They're rallying the troops against him. It's just the beginning. His vitriolic way of speaking has driven so many people on the left away. Ironically, my blackface video doesn't disturb people as much as his anger toward Muslims. And, you know, I don't in any way apologize for simply impersonating the president, but when you have a gift, you got to give it, you know. I have a gift. I'm an impersonation artist, and I figured it was the right thing to do because I was so sure that Obama had done such a bad job as a president and would continue to be a bad president. Yeah, Trump talks down to people. Good point. He doesn't support legalization of marijuana that I know of, not recreational use. He claims he's never smoked marijuana. I find that odd and bizarre, actually. I mean, I've met a lot of people in my life that have tried it just to, you know, see what it felt like. Sarah's the only person well, there are a lot of you who haven't smoked it, but it's just so weird that he says he's never smoked it. It's hard to believe that he would ever legalize it. Fukushima, 5 years later, the fuel rods melted through the containment and nobody knows where they are now. Well, I know where they are. They're in the groundwater. I mean, they're draining into the ocean. We've got one shot to block that entrance to Fukushima reactor. You're not an herbal person? Well, it's benefiting a lot of states. 20 states and more now Vermont's now considering recreational marijuana sales. So that's a really interesting thing. I believe there's a lot of things that are just not real going on in our world. like this Lady Gaga I don't believe this is Lady Gaga. I mean, you may want to think I'm a little weird, but those aren't Lady Gaga's teeth. That's not her face. So we've got all kinds of lies and deception going on in my mind. But what we don't hear about is the truth. And, you know, when we hear about Fukushima 5 years later, fuel rods are melting through containment, nobody knows where they are now, that's real. But Lady Gaga at the Super Bowl, I don't know if that was real or not. I mean, there's so many faces of Lady Gaga, it's almost unbelievable. I mean, they have different face at the Grammys, too. There's a different woman. I mean, so obviously a lot of things are being used to divert our attention from reality. And the reality is we do need a third party, and the reality is that we got serious problems like Fukushima. And the reality is we need to legalize marijuana across the board, recreational. It took Bernie up until last like a month ago to decide he wanted legalization. He's not a pro-legalization guy. I mean, seriously. I believe that Trump could be the ultimate provocateur. We all know that Trump and Hillary are close friends. It doesn't surprise me that they'd be working together to get Hillary elected. He's so divisive. Well, if I could pair up with Trump, he would have to call me on the phone. I don't hold it against him that he took my ideas. I've got great ideas. I really do. I don't blame him, but the fact that he can't attribute who the ideas came from, that might be a problem down the road. It doesn't really matter, though. Our ideas are similar. I just don't want to ID Muslims, and I certainly don't want to violate your freedom of speech questioning the president. When he said that he questioned people critical of him in the media would be charged with a crime, clearly going against the First Amendment in all different areas. Very, very disturbing. And it really hurts me to even think that the man would have even thought of running a third party. I'm glad that he's winning the endorsement for the Republican Party. I really am. I'm elated because the Republicans are on their way out. It's like he's jumping on a sinking ship and we still have 8 months to go. Yes, the entire globe can question ISIS at this point. You're right. Especially since none of the green screen beheadings looked real. Man, there's a lot of real terrorists out there, but this ISIS, fear of ISIS, it's way beyond. It's a propaganda toy. It's a ploy to create war. And tomorrow is our anti-war rally, so we'll talk more about ISIS and the threat of potential war in other areas of the world, like Syria. Yes, you got questions, I've got answers. And I'm not Radio Shack. And they haven't used that concept for over 10 years. Black Lives Matter named as Grand Marshal of the San Francisco's 2016 Pride Parade. Wow. Why not? You know, they canceled the Seattle Gay Pride event. They apparently stuck so many people with bills in previous events that this is like 10 years ago, they canceled it. I wouldn't know that except I was watching the news. I'm not gay. So, is it fake? Okay. I guess it's all fake. Well, let's be clear. Oh, that's the Joan Rivers story. Yeah, we talked about that. Let me see what I've got down below. There we go. This is the happy gathering right around the wedding of Melania and Donald after she posed naked in a magazine. Yeah. Has anybody seen those naked pictures of Melania? No, I'm not gay. Have you seen naked pictures of, has anybody Googled it? Do you think they've all been taken off the air or like scrubbed from the internet? I know this is highly unlikely, but some of you may be watching some free porn in your future. Maybe. Probably not because you're so religious, but you might want to look for me. Could you check, please? Melania, naked pictures. I'm just curious if they're out there. Oh, there I am. I don't want to see them. No, I just want to know if they exist. You don't even know what I'm talking about? Are you even coherent? Have you checked into ER yet? Melania's more liberal, yeah. Well, I'm not in any way angry at people for being naked in film or television. I have no personal problem with them. It would be the first time in American history that we'd be able to see the First Lady completely. That would be pretty trippy. Maybe in a bad way. Well, see, Sarah and I have never done any nude photography or anything like that. Yeah, we've never gotten into that porn world. But married to an erotic actress of some sort, I mean, Donald must have known what he was getting into. He certainly, yeah, well, you won't have to, believe me. I would never take my clothes off for camera, ever. Unless I'm in my Speedo doing my workout. My Speedo doing my workout. I don't wear a Speedo. Yeah. Manly men don't eat quiche either. Yeah. So here I am at the gathering of Hillary and Donald. What are you guys drinking? Can I get you something here? No, I'm not the help. I'm the future president of the United States. You, sir, are taking my ideas, and you, ma'am, have decided you don't tell the truth, do you, Hillary? YMCA. Well, you're into talking crap and answering a good question. I would love to do that. 454. Give me what is your question? I'm reading through chat. Okay, I'm reading. Hang on. Not a single bleep given to your, yeah. If you think beheadings are not real, well, where is John Cantilli? Can't lie. Okay, here we go. I believe that John Can't Lie may very well be the one and only beheading, but it may not have been a beheading. All right? His death may have been one of the many people that have been executed, like the people that have traveled on flight MH370. Those are the people that we have to be concerned about. Kidnapped in Syria, where is he right now? At this point, I can't tell you. But I can tell you, and I appreciate your question. I'm not ignoring it because, as you know, I have an intuitive, organic sense of the chat. When you have a really important question, I need to answer it. And why did Obama make out with Jay Carney? Okay, this is another question that we're going to ask. So I can't answer the question. There are real people that are dying from terrorists. I'm not in no way saying that they're not real and they're not dying, okay? And David Gergen is speaking out. The former presidential advisor says this largest protest at Donald Trump's rally in Chicago might be one of the most important moments of the campaign. And Gergen says this is a test of Donald Trump's leadership. Well, let's listen to this. Thank you. I don't care. Can't stop because we won't stop. We keep the extended show going.
This is maybe one of the most important moments of the entire campaign. This is maybe one of the most important moments of the entire campaign.
Okay, I want everyone to know that David Gergen is a notorious pundit for the New World Order. I can't trust a word he says, so it's going to be interesting to see if this guy has anything valid to say about anything.
This could cost him the nomination. It could also catapult him. We don't know which way it's going to cut. I think a lot of people are going to be frightened and horrified. We had this kind of violence in Chicago in 1968 Democratic Convention. 48 years later, we still talk about it. Yeah, we had this kind of violence in George Wallace's campaign when he used language similar to Trump, and bad things came out of that. There were a lot of fisticuffs, and eventually the candidate himself was shot. So this is very dangerous. And here's the deal: the candidate must set the tone for his rallies. That's his responsibility. As Maggie has pointed out, as others have said, he has set a tone that encourages his supporters to go after and punch people, and it naturally draws out bigger and bigger protests, and it sets the stage for this kind of incendiary climactic moment. And so this is a test of his leadership to be president, to show that he can unify in the way he claims. And so what he has to do, I think he has to go to the country tomorrow no later than this weekend and make it clear that while he wants to have rallies, it's critically important that they be peaceful, that people come in peace, and they leave in peace.
Well, Trump has a lot of things to make up. He's had 2 instances where he's actually asked the police to remove black people from his Trump events. This is a serious thing. And this flare-up in Chicago, yeah. We profiled at the beginning of our show the actual event, and it was pretty real. Not a lot more to it than that. I mean, the rest is cowbell, you know. Yeah. Jacket says, here's an interesting thought, David. If you were elected, what are your chances of being assassinated? I have a 23% chance of being assassinated, based on my permutation calculations. It's not a big risk, but it's definitely, if I can't get protection in time, it is a huge risk. Luckily, I live in a secure area right now, but I mean, if I get 1 minute of mainstream media attention in the next 6 months, I'll be a household word like I am in Japan right now. So it won't take me long to go from who's this guy to, oh my God, you need to protect this guy. So I think I've got it covered. But yeah, I don't take a lot of risks. I don't go to a lot of events where I'm telling people where I'm going. And Donald does need to speak up right now. He absolutely has to correct the ways of his heavy-handed Trumpsters, I call them. The security services that he has hired literally body slammed a journalist on camera last week, grabbed him by the neck, and I'd show you that right now, but I don't have it queued up. I believe that CNN and Fox are both American propagandas. I believe that we're literally being played. I think the American people are being played to the tune of the two-party system, where we're forced to believe that the left and the right are the only choices we've got. And right now, I'm in a very good position to move forward because I'm perhaps the most centrist of candidates out there. And I can break the back of the two-party system. I've got the skill set to do it. You're looking at The Illusion, a great picture that Scissor Fight drew. The illusion is Republican versus Democrat. This is the illusion of free choice we have. And basically, they're heading us right into a slot where they turn our country into a martial law, denying our rights and our freedoms as individuals, committing brutality to scare people away from becoming dissenters, or being like Donald Trump and claiming that he's going to have a law where if you question him or criticize him in the media, you get arrested. I mean, I can't think of a more disturbing police state forming under either one of these two candidates. David, I quit drinking and my life was like a country song in reverse. Wow. Got back my wife, my house, job, and dog. No kidding, man. Great. Yep. Thank you, man. Guest 744 is clean and sober from alcohol. Good job. I'm glad you're pulling it together. That takes a lot of commitment, I'm sure. Beating any kind of an addiction is super hard. You got the potential for abuse, and then your life falls apart whenever you get into any kind of a drug or any kind of addiction. So yeah, you did the right thing. Japan is the third largest economy, let's be clear. Asia does need a strong yen, yeah. Oh, definitely. And, you know, Japan has proven to be to deliver time and time again. I mean, look what happened to the Prius, all those claims of bad cars accelerating and how they responded to the U.S. Department of Transportation, laying all these restrictions and then a huge fine in the billions. And they still rebounded. But sales have dropped considerably on all cars right now. Priuses are dropped, I think, down to 75% of what they were originally. The entire world economy is contracting. The good news is we're going to find a sustainable bottom somewhere. Right now, we're just starting to head down into that bottom. Hopefully, it will not be an abyss of no return, because I believe that with green, clean technologies, we can revive our economy. Because everybody in the world wants to breathe fresh air and have low-cost electricity. So we can move in directions that will encourage trade and encourage the clean environment that we all want. So I really do believe that we got things happening. Trader Joe's is recalling pistachios over salmonella concerns. Okay, good. Good. Trader Joe's is trying to track their quality of their food. That's good. Japanese government is probably dealing with a lot of internal problems right now with the TEPCO. I think replacing leadership is essential right now, especially considering they have accomplished next to nothing in dealing with the Fukushima crisis. I think that Shinzo Abe is going to have to make some decisions in his cabinet to find out how he can get a solid plan like the one we are proposing. Now, for the record, I am proposing a plan to cover up the entire Fukushima disaster site with a type of dirt to create a carapace, protected surface that would keep the radiation from becoming airborne and subatomic. There's an effect called the Wigner effect, which essentially allows radiated material like corium, which is a mixture of plutonium, cesium, uranium, and other types of radioactive material. It keeps it from it actually takes it and breaks it into subatomic particles, and it becomes airborne. And we absolutely need to get a cover on top of the Fukushima crisis, literally. I'm not making a pun. We're talking about covering the whole of Fukushima. Tap it. The Wigner effect, not the Wigger effect. Nice try, though. The artificial creation of the drought we're going to talk about later tonight. We'll have a video called Skywatcher, the incredible true story of artificial clouds and weather, and how they've been doing this. And they're using a method to stop global climate change, but they'd never discussed it with the American people. They've been doing it in a clandestine way. We've even uncovered, like that newspaper article earlier, they published they're going to be doing weather modification at times in the newspaper. I mean, it's ridiculous. Nobody's listening. But, yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a bit. Here, Fukushima, please. Thank you. Mound. Got it. Okay. So this is the plan, essentially, in a nutshell. Oh, Bill Burr conspiracy theory. Okay. Talking, you get noticed, get real, man. I am Dr. No. I'm talking real stuff right now every night. We're not going to get noticed, though, Dr. No. They're censoring everything we're doing, in case you didn't know. Everything we do is censored by the media. The Google is run by the Navy and DARPA. Anyway, this is a plan to actually put a sunken aircraft carrier in the bay of Fukushima. It's a map. It's not a fake map. It's a map. The bay is apparently got an opening about the size 1,250 feet of a large aircraft carrier. So we have an old aircraft carrier that's still in wet dock in Galveston, New Mexico. Galveston, Texas, rather. Galveston, oh Galveston. It's parked out in the harbor there. It's the USS Forrestal. And it would be absolutely perfect to just drop and sink. Unmanned, not a single person on that thing, putting robotic tugboats in place and dropping it right there. And then we create a firewall or a water wall protecting the region and connected back to the reactor vessel itself. So essentially we're going to use robotic tractors. The goal is to, even Hitachi tractors would be ideal for this, would be to take and dig a large trench around the most damaged area of Fukushima and essentially use all that trench material to create the mound. So as you can see, I'm creating a diversion trench around the outside perimeter of the reactors. There's 6 reactors there. And this particular one, number 4, is the one that has literally sunk right into the earth. So we're going to keep a tunnel option in the mound itself so that we can actually get down into it with robotic tractors and dig if we have to. But what I want is a fast breeder reactor that can actually get rid of 97% of the corium material would be like a slurry of wet radioactive material. And that would be the slow healing of the planet, keeping it from spreading any farther into the ocean. We can come back from where we are right now. This is not an extinction level event yet, but we're getting close to being extinction level. These two airheads wouldn't have any clue as to how to fix the problem in Fukushima. Neither one of them cares about GMOs in your diet. Seriously. They never talk about ending GMOs. I want to end GMOs. Neither one of these people want to legalize marijuana on a recreational level. Neither one of these people want to deal with the chemtrail crisis I've been talking about all night long, which is serious, and we'll be playing videos later on. Neither one of these people wants to step up against the brutality that's going on in America. And neither one of these people cares about the enlarged police state that we've got right now under our feet. Now, I'm worried about the rights of all people, not just minorities, and the idea of minorities being specifically the ones to have rights is absurd. So I'm worried about affirmative action. I want to erase the damaging effects of affirmative action. But I also want to give people in cities that are struggling, who are minorities, a chance to have a business or an opportunity that they can improve their neighborhood. So that's where our homestead renewal plan kicks in, which is a very front-forward idea to get people a house to live in and improved apartments that our government built and built by the people that are prideful in their home ownership. So our idea of the homestead renewal plan is really our banner idea for the country. And it's going to create jobs, and it'll spawn a solar rooftop revolution too once we get that going. The other people do not have solutions for the economy. They talk about fixing jobs, but they don't have answers, and that's where we come in. All right, this has been good. I'm glad I could talk to all of you in the extended broadcast, but as you know, I've got to... If Trump is a good person, then why the hell would he kick black people out of his events? You tell me. Why would he kick black people out of his events? And why would his thugs rough people up like Hitler's stormtroopers in Germany's time? Yeah, just, you can't answer to these questions, can you? The chemtrail crisis is absolute reality. It's been dumping on your heads all over the place. You have no idea. If you absolutely are at that level where you're denying chemtrails exist, you've not only been brainwashed by the mainstream media, but you absolutely have no critical thinking ability. Because we can show you time after time ample proof of chemtrail activity happening right above the skies that you live in, right where you are. And you're looking right at it and going, that's just a lot of condensation. Yeah. I'm going to play a video of a guy in Chicago, speaking of Chicago. He pulls off the road and he starts talking to his camera, and he spells it out like he sees it. And if you don't believe this guy, by the end of this 15 minutes, you're going to believe that chemtrails exist, and you need to do something about them. All right, take care, everybody. Good night. Oh, I'm back. Sorry.
So I'm staying with a friend, and I look out her beautiful window, and I go, oh, that's great. Nice chemtrails. Oh, I don't want to hear that today. And then within like a span of 2 minutes, they wanted to go ahead.